our mini arc with our Ithilwinge characters. We started with Minerva, who had a psionic conversation, or maybe one-way conversation, with Telperion, where Telperion downloaded a bunch of information, as much as he could in that short amount of time, about his journeys to try to give her something that could be useful in helping their family as a whole. And from there, Minerva summoned her best friend and companion Duvain and asked for his help the following morning. As she was leaving with the tome that she knew would be helpful, that Telperion's information made her think of, she ran into Svendrin and Teo, who were in the hallways, and finding it to be a good idea to go with an escort and somebody who has some authority, Minerva was happy to invite Svendrin along and Teo as well. They went and they picked up Talia and Silme. Talia was able to, the only one so far known in the Moonset Grove who can read this tome, which describes the operation of a magical orrery, which is hidden several hours away near Tree Mound, which is known by, referred to as a different name in the text. From there, the party did decide to go check out this lead at Minerva's hope and assistance. Everyone journeyed with her. There was a rather uneventful journey through the woods, as this is all like patrolled and taken care of by the Selethar and Ithilwinge Rangers. And you guys stumbled upon the entrance to, you didn't know it at the time, but the entrance to this temple. You guys battled the Oryx Steer and the Ursa Argentum, and were able to defeat them. And upon defeating them, they turned to metallic dust and created a bridge and revealed the entrance, which you went through to get to this current view. So I believe I described it. It's actually pretty true to the image in front of you. This is a very silent place. You're as you're proceeding in, you're not seeing anything that like is sparking the note of like there's people settled here, there's people living here. So it is a silent place. You notice that you traveled through a mythal to get here, so there's many kinds of protections around this place. And yeah, you all have kind of free reign to feel this place out.
So did we just literally just pass through
Yeah.
in this hall? And we can all tell the difference. There's like a feeling difference.
Yes.
I have a question then. Detailed question. So you said to ask them. I'm curious what like the plants and animals are like. Are they able to like pass through the mythals, or is there like a growth difference on like either side that would make it like apparent that there's like some type of magical barrier?
That's a really good question. I would say just your general knowledge as a Moonset, Ithilwinge, small creatures that aren't of like specific intelligence or just like small fauna can move through mythals without too much barrier. I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think I think things that are like overly intelligent or overly large that have some life force probably wouldn't be able to move through them, because that's kind of what they're protecting from. And on this side, I hadn't thought about it, but it would have I think that you would be in a pocket that feels different than the woods around you. There is a certain kind of magic here. The plants maybe aren't like foreign, but perhaps like the plants you're looking at, the season doesn't quite correlate. You're in the middle of winter in the Ithilwinge, and you know that the elvish magic in the forest does change things, but this just isn't the kind of time or space you'd expect to be in. That's not me implying you've traveled to another plane or anything like that.
Second question: have we all spent a lot of time like outside of mythals, or would this be a unique experience for us to go through them?
Each city of the Ithilwinge, each like capital would be protected by mythal. So going from one to another, and many of you aren't from the Mooncrest Grove natively, so you can freely move between the different cities in the Emerald. So you would not be like, you going through it is a familiar sensation. this
Okay.
is one you never have heard of. They're not exceptionally common. Mythals take years, like a decade of casting, essentially. And the ones that Ithlwinga have are ancient. Like your parents wouldn't even know when they like had seen them be created. So to like this is probably now a good explanation of Telperian shock at finding one in Force Hollow, because to find one that's not known is very surprising.
This space is beautiful. What have you led us to, Minerva?
More than I could have hoped for. I've never read
Well,
anything like this.
these buildings, the architecture is clearly elven, in my opinion, though it looks striking and somewhat alien in its own way. Um, uh, are there inhabitants that reside here? Fascinating. Well, clearly we have gained access to this space, perhaps buying our worth from the beasts of gold and silver outside. Um, I suspect we should approach. I will, if you will allow me to ruminate on it, Minerva, I'd like to flip through that tome again just to see if there is any version of description of something like this.
I think you probably have it. Actually, Minerva will give it to you. And yeah, let you
Yeah.
peruse that.
So Talia will just start kind of using peripheral perception as you guys move to follow along, but she's going to just like be leafing through, trying to glean any information from celestial text that she's probably already thoroughly read. She's just fascinated in this moment, but start burying her head in a book, which is atypical for her.
Do you are y'all? I assume y'all are kind of moving through the space. Is there anything you guys want to let me know that you're doing?
I almost want to say I want to be like. Oh,
Sven, I think you're muted.
I almost want to say I want to be like on edge and ready for threats, but like I think we're all familiar with the level of protection granted by a mythal, so there's definitely a level of relief of protection. Yeah, so there's just kind of a awe and taking in of this space.
Sounds good. So I will outline that you are looking at these ruins. There's just a clear path towards the front of the ruins, or temple. I keep saying ruins because they're abandoned, but they aren't dilapidated. So I don't want that to paint your image that way. So they go up the stairs, and a little bit out, they kind of wind out of sight. So unless anyone says otherwise, you guys might just proceed forward.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, sounds good.
Certainly.
So as you walk up, you go up those stairs there, and you find yourself looking at very tall doors, like not quite 2 stories tall, but like much taller than like regular doors. So like a grand entrance to this place. Crossing where like these 2 doors meet, so like the seal in between, there is a tree on the exterior. So there's stone door behind and this tree in front. It is a metallic flat carving, essentially, hugging that seal. And so
not looking like an organic tree, but rather some structure or sculpture
yes,
filigree to the structure. Got it.
yes. So this tree sprouts up. The roots are, you can see the roots at the bottom where like the floor meets the doors, and this tree sprouts up and then sprouts this way at this, the branches, and then nestled within the branches are image icon of the sun and the moon. And then the roots kind of flow outward off of the like down into the stone and then kind of like out.
And looking up from my tome for a moment, surveying the space, does the stonework stairs that led here, do the trees that are integrated with some of the buildings that's kind of typical of elvish culture in the Emerald, does any of this look recently traveled in any way?
Why don't you roll me a nature or survival or investigation check? You choose.
I'll do survival. 15.
Yeah. No. I'd say now that you're up close and investigating, you see like it's very grand. When you were far away, it's very large, right? But like now that you're up close in it, you see signs of like not habitation, like mosses seeping up stone.
Yeah.
Not
Probably roots
dust,
and brush
yeah.
over even the stair steps and stuff like that, or
yeah, exactly.
not well maintained, which definitely lends to its lack of inhabitation, I guess.
Yes.
Is there like a doorknob visible?
No.
But it is a door.
Yes, there's a stone door behind that statue I described. Statue like it's like the maybe 4 inches thick.
And we can't just walk around it?
You can poke around with it.
Okay. I poke around. I try to go around it just to see what's on the backside or just see if I can pass forward.
Okay, so as you like get closer, you see that like it's like adhered to the stone door. So there's like no like where you would see like at the top where the branching is, you can see that there's like a seal. And this thing is like adhered to the stone.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And like if you gently are like trying to push, it's like the most inanimate thing. Like there's no give.
Well, I'm gonna say, should we knock? I don't know. Who could be home here? It seems abandoned.
I could blast it.
I don't know. I don't think we want you blasting things just yet.
I also am not able to glean anything additional from this tome, although, Minerva, if what your brother had tried to lead you to, and with this discovery of the tome in your study, as well as my suspicions of the somewhat different architecture of this place, I do not necessarily know that this is Ithilwinge make. This may be of our cousinkin's society. I do not suggest blasting this door with magic or harming this citadels and structures of this campus will do us any good and can only disrupt the past.
You saying this to Minerva, you look over at her, and she kind of like nods at you, but she doesn't respond. She's singing under her breath, and she has her wand out, and she is ritual casting Identify Magic. Or Detect Magic. No, wait. She doesn't have that. She's casting Identify on the door, metal tree.
Seeing her do that, I will probably go into the corresponding spell of Detect Magic while she's doing Identify. Just ritual casting sitting next to her.
Fascinating. Well, Teo, perhaps if you're willing to give them a minute and to let them discern what magical protections may lay upon this place, I don't suspect that knocking would pose any issue. Perhaps it could be, if there are any inhabitants within, announcing ourselves seems as good a venture as any.
Well, Talia, why don't you knock and introduce us?
I could give it a try. I might be interested in having Minerva and Duvane's magical capabilities reveal more to us before I try to approach too brashly.
MJ, in the like kind of recorded or oral history, was it always like kind of implied that there's the Ithilwinge here doing their thing and the Alalor somewhere else doing their thing, but they like kept in contact, or was there any evidence of like mingling, like any notable cities where they like both existed together?
Yeah, so it's a curious question coming from you. You're the oldest elf here, so you would definitely know. I'm also curious, like, and I'm going to give you an answer. I'm curious too if like Svendrin is someone who would have been thinking about like older lore of the Ithilwinge, or if she's someone who's kind of more like of immediate like awareness of like more of like lives in the moment. Could you tell me that?
Svendrin definitely is pensive and is definitely thoughtful. She's not slow to action as a result of it by any means. She's a well-seasoned warrior, but as I'm sure is pretty common to some degree among any elf who's lived for centuries. She spent a good amount of time trying to learn about history. And there's just specifically the way Talia said, this seems it might be of our cousin Kin, and then I look up and I see the sun and the moon. I'm like, does it just have to be an Alalor city, or could this perhaps be some sort of...
So what you do know is that it's been like over 1,000 years since the Alalor disappeared. Maybe two. And when they were here, the Sun and the Moon Elves were incredibly, very connected. Like they shared spaces. They like did have their own places too, but they could like have shared cities. And it was a literal sundering when they left. And it was something where they're like, when
they left the Emerin, like they also resided within the Emerin. Okay.
Yeah. They resided in the Emerin, and like they're almost becoming like mythological because they have been absent so long and they just departed entirely. So it's, as you're looking at this, you might be realizing like, oh, I didn't really understand because it was so long ago and we don't talk about them that much. The Alalor and the Ithilwinge may have been closer than I realized. Yeah.
Also, another small environmental question that Sven's question kind of brought to mind is this a city that we're looking upon, or is it kind of a connected series of structures that's more of a campus environment? I want to understand for scale.
Yeah, I think it's definitely more temple campus. Like,
okay.
Yeah. Kind of palatial, not a city. Like you're looking around and there are like walls around you, and it's not like there's like multiple other routes in. And it is rather contained here. Unless there's any other questions, I can proceed to the end of our ritual castings. Okay, did you have something? Okay. So Minerva casts Identify, and she kind of frowns a bit. She says, well, that's odd. This spell is not exactly... The magic here is like very, very quiet. And Duvain, what she's saying is lingering with you as well, because you're casting your detect magic, and detect magic works in like much more direct ways of like it's conjuration or enchantment magic. You're not getting that kind of vibe. You are. I think you had just cast detect magic in the previous session too, and you're getting another similar vibe that you did last time of like, this is not arcane in the slightest. This is a mix of like the primordial and this like divine, but your spell being actually more suited for what's happening here. You look at the roots that you look at this tree, and the tree is definitely like humming with magic, but it's like Minerva said, it's like very quiet. It is like dormant magic. And you look at the roots, and because you have like highlighter vision for magic right now, you notice that the roots do go to the side, and as they like go to the side of your like stone pathway, they like dip down onto the side, and you notice that there's like a basin on each side of the stone platform here that the roots are dipping into. You're muted.
You're muted.
Is this like underground, or can I like just step over to it?
You can just walk over to it.
Oh, is there anything in these basins?
No, but there is writing up against the wall over the basins.
I would like to try to read it.
You are looking at a language you do not know.
Talia, I wonder if you might be able to help out with this one, whatever reading you love doing.
Of course, Duvain. What are you looking at?
Talia.
So Talia, you go and you see, and maybe you go back and forth and look. It's the same text repeated on each side, and it says
Written in Celestial.
in Celestial, "Feed us with the dew of the moon and the fruit of the sun." I'll put that in the chat.
And I will relay that. It seems to be the same inscription written in the language of the divines. Feed us with the dew of the moon and the fruit of the sun. Perhaps these basins, and the basins are kind of like, they're like indentations or like a place where something could be set.
They're kind of like sinks. Like they come out and like this, like they kind of like connect between the corner because they're like on this corner. And there is like a small hole in them that goes down.
Fascinating.
So like if you filled it up with a jug of water, the water would drain through that hole and you don't know where it would go.
Dew of the moon and fruit of the sun. Does it look like there's iconography on either side that would reflect maybe that one side's sun and one side's moon, or are they essentially effectively the same?
I would say the only thing there's nothing on the basins that implies it, but you look up and the sun is on the left and the moon is on the right in the tree.
Got it.
I'm writing that,
Okay.
so I...
Dew of the moon and fruit of the sun. Poetic language, perhaps, indicating something more tangible. I don't suppose any of you might have any ideas of perhaps what to try and set into these basins, do you?
Is there any like fruit trees or any like gardens that are around that we could maybe like take an apple and put it in this basin?
All right, that's an excellent question, Silme. I would like Silme to make a history check. Talia, I'd also like you to make a history check. And I have other checks in mind, but I would like to hear a little bit about people's thinkings before I say any more for other people. So just so you know, before I'm about to go and explain this, there's still other things that could be thought of or discussed. Silme and Talia, Talia, you know that at the Lodge of the Eclipse, where the sorceresses of the Eclipse live, there is a greenhouse. But you, Talia, or Silme, are remembering just a conversation that you've had. You know that Limstella Greymeyer, the leader of your organization, used to be a pretty like well-known like she's kept gardens is all you think of. But you know maybe she would be someone who would be aware of like herb lore or something like this. But like nothing is coming to either of your minds of like a moonflower or anything like that.
Interesting. Silme, you say the elder, Limstella, has some knowledge of ancient flora. I wonder if she could be of aid to us in some way.
Yeah, perhaps she would know what the text is referring to. So we know exactly what to place in the basin. I'm sure if we went and saw her, she would be more than happy to help us. Her and I have a very personal relationship.
Interesting.
But I do have a thought about this place. Could this place be like a temple for those that worship the sun, but also those that worship the moon? Because I would think that like a place like that, like why would the moon, hold on a second. The sun is the opposite from the moon, and they're connected in some way. The reason why we see the moon is because of the sun. So maybe perhaps these two religions are a little bit more intertwined than we think.
Well, I suspect they're all intertwined under the Seldrin pantheon. That Corellin Lerethian, father of all of the firstborn elves, is notably the deity beholden to the sun, and our goddess Seanine is the reflection of the moon and its grandeur, but they are tied together in spirit and divinity. They are part of the same pantheon of deities. So I think you're absolutely right that those are very intertwined. I suppose across our culture, the moon is held aloft as paramount, partially due to our heritage and bloodlines. And the Alealora, I imagine, had more heavily used iconography of the sun, neither shirking either of the other. But I am surprised to see them held together in architecture that is very similar to ours and yet different. Divinity-wise, I'm not surprised to see this iconography together, but culturally and architecturally, I am.
There's more than one moon, though, right? Didn't we go over this at one point? That there's like four
Yes,
of them?
and yeah, I'll just mention that real quick. Is Selenix is the main white moon that is classically associated with Sehanine, and is the representation of her guiding light upon her people. And it is the largest moon, but there are 3 other moons.
Do those 3 others have their own gods associated with them, or are they all part of the like Sehanine kind of family?
Talia would even speak up and say that the other moons, as we are taught in the eclipse and otherwise across our culture, I think it is clear that that of Almeida and Sanaki and Thalessa, the golden, red, and blue moons, are almost like behind a prism of that of Selenix. They are more focused and more specific representations of her light, at least in our cultural history. For example, I personally study Sanaki separately from Selenix, and the waning of and waxing of those 2 moons in relation to each other is where I devote a lot of my study. I have a mind for those 2 moons. Both are attributed to Sehanine's grace, though Selenix is by far and away the priority, the primary representation.
And I put something in the chat for Teo and Sven.
Yeah, so Sven is
Which you don't have to.
thinking about just scouring like her memory of centuries of living in Athenian. Is there any like interesting murals, any weird books, anything that mentions like moon dew specifically? And then in terms of the fruit, my mind would drift towards my sister, and you know, she's always interested in trying to get me to come along, and Teo usually brings news of what new plant or fruit she might have cultivated, but that often passes over, kind of goes in one ear out the other.
Yeah. I think no, like you haven't ever heard the term moon dew before. Like, I mean, there's like the gorgeous waterfall of that looks like moonlight, but like the term is not something you've thought of or heard. And then the fruit of the sun. I mean, all fruit is grown because of the sun.
I mean,
but like,
all
and there's fruits in
plant life in general is
yeah. But you're not enough, like you're not versed enough in plants that you would be like, oh, this is more sun related than a different fruit. But like you said, Anara is coming to mind as someone else who you have familiar, like who you're familiar with, who knows more about these kinds of things.
Only Anara was here. We should have brought her with us, but she was busy at the gardens. She would know things about fruit of the sun, but let me rack my memory and see if there's anything I can think of.
Does she have anything that she's grown that gives off its own light, perhaps?
And I think to myself, do I know of anything?
I'm not gonna even make you roll because like there's no fruit that you know of that like gives off light. And you could probably name a couple fruits. Like you probably have fruit trees in your own backyard because Anara is like pretty well known for her gardening. But you don't, and I would even personally let you make up 3 fun fruits, fantasy fruits if you want. But those are not striking you as like super sun related either. But Minerva will respond because to one thing Silme said. Asking others for help is not something I'm opposed to, but I have 2 minds. One is this discovery is already enough to potentially help Telperion and help my family with, if his information has unveiled yet another, plus with my discovery of the text and Talia's discovery of the Celestial. This is a very good fortune. But I think maybe we should try to enter before we tell anyone about it. We might have a more potent stick to bludgeon with in any arguments going forward if we can discover what's inside, if it's relevant, before we tell anyone. So Silme, I would not oppose Limstella's advice. She's very knowledgeable, I do believe. But I don't know that we should say exactly why we want the fruit or the knowledge of whatever. What do you think?
That's fine by me, but I don't know how we're gonna get in here. How are we gonna get into this place behind this stone?
Still haven't tried knocking yet.
Yes, we certainly could try and announce ourselves still. I'm willing to give it a try. Hopefully, if there's anyone inside, they can perhaps aid us bypassing whatever magical basin placement is required for this tree filigree. But I'll give it a try. And I will stride up next to the stone entry door, the one on the right, that's the moon. And I will try to just wrap my knuckles on the stonework and see if it echoes or makes a loud enough noise to hopefully alert anyone if they're inside.
It makes no noise as you try to touch the stone and cannot. There's like, you're putting your knuckle on there, getting like that close, but you are not touching stone.
Fascinating. I am not even able to make purchase of my hand against the stonework. Perhaps I can try to call out to it, though I cannot perhaps enhance my voice in a way to make it through thick stone, but any who reside within, I am Talia of the Ithilwinge. I come with friends. We mean well to your campus ground here. We are cousin kin of the Alealor, and common descendants of Corellin, Angarad, Sehanin, Erdri, Hanali. Please, if you find us worthy, let us in. And I will say that in Elvish first and see if there's any response.
Can you make me a wisdom saving throw?
Solid.
Oh. You are not, your voice like goes out into the ether around you as a normal voice would, And you just are disturbing the like absolute peace quiet of this place, and that's all.
It almost feels jarring to call out. in
It
a
doesn't
way.
because you did so well.
Okay. But I have a sensation of discomfort doing that, though I'm able to push past it in a way.
Barely. You did so well. You're not even like, I think you
Okay.
would, like you would have been like very aware of how much you were disturbing the space, but you're not.
Got it.
In a good way. You're fine. You're not intimidated in any way.
But no response.
Well, we have half a day left today, and then we have until tomorrow evening, I do think, before the council will convene to discuss whether or not they will permit Myalite to oppose my mother for the Aranil crown. We could have enough time to go back and try to research some more, unless any one of us can produce dew or fruit right now.
Do we think
Are there
those
any, like,
beasts... Oh, sorry, Duvane, what were you about to say?
Are there any, like, I'm assuming there's like brush and other like twigs and stuff around.
Yeah.
Sven, do you mind helping me with this? I might need your blade for a second or so. I'm just gonna like grab a bunch of twigs and brush and shit and put it on the left basin, the one that had the sun. Sven, my hands are never good with the blade. Would you mind just striking this for a quick second? See if you can get a spark or something lit on here.
I'll grab on behind my back my little dagger out. Yeah, and I'll begin trying to generate.
I have a piece of flint that
You ignite some brush. Just kind of peters out.
Do I notice any change in the door, in the basin, in anything? Okay.
Yes, it certainly doesn't need to be something quite as tangible as fruit, perhaps.
Dew of the moon.
And also, it's not always guaranteed that an elf like us and an Alealor would come in a pair to solve this together. So,
Is he?
we should have.
Deanna, sorry. You said that there's like a wall around. Like, can we? So there's the door. What's to the left and right of the door? Parallel with the door.
Wall.
Yeah, like, can we break in?
How tall is this wall?
I'm going to say, looking at it, it's very tall. It's actually overhung with like rocky outcroppings. And I'm just gonna fast travel through I don't think you're breaking in. Your characters aren't looking at this thinking like we're about to break in, especially because you're sitting here facing magical enchantments and protections. So you might be getting a sense of like.
Not in that sense. Are we like in a corridor, or were we in an open air path that led up to the wall that seems to kind of encompass the kind of whole campus?
Was open door, or it was like just open, and then like arching overhead stonework, and like you're like in like a kind of like an entryway, where it's like just tall, and then goes up, and there's trees above you.
I mean, I could perhaps venture further out and maybe try and find a place to climb in or something, but
Yeah, I'm just gonna look straight up. Is there a spot like 20-25 feet directly above us that I can perch onto?
Yes. So like my example, I would say look at the map here and look at where I'm pointing. This is kind of where I'm picturing y'all.
Okay.
And so like maybe there's a ledge, and then like if you were interested in like ferry hopping your way up, you could feasibly.
I want to. Yeah, I'm gonna bonus action activate my wings from my monarch mantle, and I want to just like 20-foot jump straight up in the air and grab onto like the arch, specifically so I can look down and just get a vantage point and see if there's anything better I can see from up high.
When you do that, are you just jumping 20 feet in the air, or are your like wings animating and flapping?
Oh, so when I do that, like I activate, my wings, my monarch mantle starts to like flutter, almost like hummingbird speed. But I imagine I'm doing somewhat of like a superhero reverse 3-point landing to just launch straight up with the
Super
aid
dope.
of the butterfly wings. And you see a bit of desperation as Devane needs to catch something when he gets to the top of that jump.
Nice. You butterfly, Superman, jump up, land on the arch. You are kind of looking at, I'd say 25 feet. No, you're looking slightly down at where that sun and the moon are within the tree. You're looking at that tree that's branching over the doorway. And you see like these overhangs overhead, that look probably out of reach of your jump to get like up there. And you see, I mean, if you're just looking down at where you were, you're just kind of noticing things from the different perspective of like, there are those basins, you see the pipe that leads under, like kind of like go into the wall. So theoretically, like if something were to be put in the basins, it would go into the wall of the temple. And other than that, like you see brush, you see nothing else besides your party members looking up at you.
I'm just going to flutter back down to the moon side, and I'm just going to take out a water flask or something, and I'm just going to pour a little bit of water into the moon basin.
As you do, the water goes into the moon basin, sinks down, and disappears to no impact. Noticeable.
Would the dew of the moon and the fruit of the sun be leading to the growth of this tree? Is that the analogy that is at play? Because Devane, I mean,
Fascinating.
it does seem like it.
I went for the obvious ones. I'm not sure
encourages
what else.
liquids. I mean, there's these pipes of some kind, light and water, allowing for the growth of the tree.
Indeed.
I mean, perhaps this.
Yes, perhaps that means exactly what you envision, Sven. Though, apart from mundane fruit we pick of nearby trees or water we can pour down the basin, I don't know that we have adequate knowledge of what is required here. Minerva, are you certain this... Well, apologies, this must be a fruitful endeavor. Do our people even know about this place's existence? I don't, unless there are secrets shrouded in higher status individuals. This location, being at the Tree Mound, is not something that has ever been referenced in my understanding. And if this is in fact of Alealor construction, could what you have described, the depiction of that structure that lives on this tome, could it be here? Could it be through here, behind these doors?
That's what I've been imagining was behind there. I think that it said Tree Mound and led us here. I think also for this to be as pristine and undiscovered, it's been a great secret. Celestial's not something commonly read. It required effort to get in here. I think that we just need to go find the keys and bring them back here. I think also as a scholar, if you don't have the information you need, you go ask the people who could help you get it.
Do you have any idea where the keys might be?
I think you were wise to bring up Limstella and Anara, people that are familiar. I'm not. Telperion might know more about plants than I. He's been studying them ever since Doran died, but I don't know enough about them myself.
I also. Yes, what were you saying, Teo?
Maybe we should take one more quick look around and just see if there's anything that seems out of place, out of ordinary, that might give us hints before we go back and discuss. Maybe we can bring Anara along or someone else that might know more about plants to help us out. There might be others that might want to see this place as well. We could go fetch them.
Yes, although I am not eager to tarnish mine or Silmay's reputation by blatantly calling attention to the fact that we are aiding Minerva in defense of her brother in some way. As of yet, of course, we will make this discovery known at the proper time. We should just be selective on who we trust with this information, at least in the short term.
Sven,
I'm
might
also-
I borrow that dagger of yours? One more second, please.
Proffer it towards you.
Sorry, Tali, what was that you were going to say?
I was just also worried that what if we are not able to open this gate, these doors? Who is to say that the Moonset Grove holds the keys to open these doors? Is it specific keys, or is it some sort of offering or gift that is subjective and must meet these vague poetic criteria? Hopefully the latter.
I want to remind you, because it's been a week for Crit, but it's been minutes for Talia, or, you just had that augury. And I would say you aren't necessarily I think you might be more open to, this was super fortuitous and very hard to imagine that the stars aligning to allow us to find this. So I think that you might have, instead of this skepticism, you might actually have a little bit more of faith and maybe there is
and
something.
even pushing past the skepticism, I probably have moments of I'm so hoping for something to be of avail to us here that I'm almost nervous to lose it. And so I'm constantly wavering, but then I'm reassuring myself. And then I'm no, but what if we can't get in? No, Sehanin has guided us here for a purpose. There is this natural insecurity of what if we can't, but then you're absolutely right. She's totally thinking of, no, this is where we are being called to. I agree, Teo. Let's us see if there's anything else in this surrounding that could be of use to us, but perhaps gaining knowledge of the Moonset Grove will give us the required information to traverse this place more freely.
So in this moment, Duvain slits his hand and pours
While Talia is talking, Duvain is slowly muttering the verbal components to healing word as he is dragging a knife across his hand to get just a sliver of blood into the moon bowl basin side. So I'm
Duvain.
I feel like I've canonically, Duvain has practiced this, how to take a wound and immediately heal from it. But he's drawing the dagger across his hand and letting some blood flow. And as he does it, the butterflies coalesce around his now wound-free hand.
This is of no matter or importance, but I was just staring at the language of the sentence you've been given, and I want to change it to quench because I think that verb makes more sense than feed. So as you drop a bit of blood into that moon, the basin on the moon side, oddly, the water went down into the hole of the basin. Your blood is not enough that it would you'd think it would just kind of splatter and stay there. Very weirdly, it's just sucked down into the basin, and the basin just looks dry as bone again. But nothing else happens. Nothing happens past that. The blood disappearing.
Do I notice any change in the door, in the basin, in the tree, in the roots?
And then Minerva says, like, to Talia's point, that because Talia had been making that, not that she maybe didn't necessarily notice Duvane doing that, and then there is no change per se. Minerva says, we live in the Moonset Grove. You'd think that I would fear maybe we couldn't find something of the sun. I don't know what a sun fruit is or anything, but you'd think we'd be able to find something wet and moon related that we could drop in here.
Yes, and that is to my point. I hope something of adequate value like that would have effect, a subjective offering of Dew of Moon,
Whoa.
not a specific required key.
I can't believe it took me this long. I can't think of a good way to describe two-factor authorization in fantasy terms, but we just made it past the first challenge in arriving here. Is the water with their essence still out there? Could that be the key that would allow us to entrance? We had to prove ourselves to obtain the key.
That is a curious interpretation, though I don't know if I would call it fruit of sun, but dew of moon could be appropriate if it had taken the Argentum beast's essence into the water. We could give it a try.
Are we able to move these containers at all?
They're just like stone fixed, adhered to the wall.
So it's like, okay, so they're not like pick them up and move them.
No. They almost look like
it's like part of the door and frame construction, right? Like it's part of that stonework.
Are we in like shadow right now, like in the shade, or is there like light shining on the door?
like filtered sunlight coming through the trees.
Okay, well.
Why don't you all stay here, and I'll run back and fetch Inara. And to Talia's point, you know, she's even less politically motivated than I am, so she won't care who's here helping Minerva. Can go fetch her. And all stay here and keep working on this challenge that blocks our path.
Normally, Teo, I would not eagerly volunteer to make the trek back and forth, and I would trust your speed and diligence, but you will not be granted access to the Lodge of the Eclipse if Silmea and I need to gather information, perhaps from the Elder there. I suspect if we go back, it should be a group endeavor that we all pull on various strings available to us and see what information we might achieve.
Well, I'm stumped, and I'm not opposed to going and asking for help. So,
agreed. Perhaps Sven, here, and I'll pull out my water skin and kind of dump it out on the stone floor beneath us and hand it to Sven. Svendrin, if you are interested in running back to that pool where the moon bridge appeared before us, and getting a sample of that water to come back and test it out before we leave, I think that is worth a try.
Yeah, and I'll accept it. And kind of a light jog. I don't know how long we had been walking to get to this point. I don't know if it was just a handful of minutes or...
It didn't take long, so you go get water and you come back.
Well, when I get there, is there any sort of remains of that kind of essence that had traveled up the creek and then formed the bridge, or does it just seem like a pond now?
It's just a pond with the essence still having coalesced to form that crescent moon bridge.
I'll grab I'll fill up the water skin with it and head back.
Okay. And you pour it in the basins when you get there?
Yeah, I'll try and do like half and half.
Just like before, the water just drank up, but gives nothing back.
Is there any fruit trees nearby?
Not that you've seen. There's a lot of fruit trees in the Moonset Grove where people kind of cultivate because it's, they can keep it protected. Um, yeah, but you haven't seen any in this area.
All right, one last thing Taylor's gonna try before he's like, I'm definitely going back. He's gonna take his butterfly knife out, or his like straight razor, and he's gonna try to like reflect a little bit of sunlight down into the bowl, into the basin of one of them.
You get the angle, and nothing. You all have people who you could ask questions of if you left.
Well, yeah, okay, it's time to go, guys. Let's head back.
Yes. We are in rare company, I suspect. We are perhaps the only individuals in all of the Moonset Grove and Athenian that know of this place. Perhaps let's try to keep it that way as much as possible, at least for the next 24 hours, if we are to gain access and freedom to walk this place of our own accord without needing to give in to, authority of the Selethar or anyone else who would seek to control this place before we are able to poke around further. So I think Silme and I have an avenue to explore. You two have Anara, Duvain, and Minerva. Perhaps there's individuals that you can think of that might be of service or aid, but I think going back home is our only option at this moment, but I am eager to return here.
I think that we can allow ourselves, Minerva says. The afternoon, we'll travel back. Won't take too long with Teo here and Duvain, who are good at reading the woods. We can ask questions. I think we might even just want to come back in the morning. If we take too long, we're not going to want to head back at night. And I do agree with Talia. I'd rather us not tell anyone about this until, that's one of the first rules of scholarship. You don't want to share what you have. If you're in the middle of an experimental study, you don't want to reveal and risk messing things up. And I think that there is enough contention in the Moonset right now that we don't want to give away half information, and if we have a chance of getting in first. But shall we go back at this time?
I suppose we should.
All right. So, fast, we will travel back to Athenian. We will have no encounters of any kind on the way. And we will arrive at the Moonset.
What did you put that at? Like 2 to 3 hours of journey?
Yeah. And you guys have isolated a few different people or a few different places you might want to go to. I am going to run to the restroom real quick and grab a fresh thing of water. Do you guys want to either take a short bio break, or you guys could discuss like which one you might want to head to first? Up to you guys. I'll be right back.
I'll probably go refill coffee in a second, but Silme, my personal preference is that I would think Talia wants to accompany you to the Lodge of the Eclipse, see if Limstella has any information to offer us, but I'll probably let you lead the charge on that since you're closer with the Elder than I am.
Okay, and then Can you unmute it? No, sorry.
You gotta mute.
Oh my god, sorry.
There we
do you
go.
want to let Limstella know where we've been? And like, are we telling her where we've been, or are we just kind of like asking her questions cryptically? Like, oh, if you were to see
I would
something
suspect
that read this, like, what do you
Yeah.
think?
Yes, I agree. I would think we should phrase it as something Minerva studied onto something in her studies that came across this curious phrase, and we don't have to mention celestial or anything. Yeah, what comes to mind when you see that? Like, is there any chance we could, and if she has any ideas or perhaps even has access to like a vial of dew of moon that she carries or something, like perhaps she might be willing to let you borrow it or something. Again, Talia would want to be there present with you, but let you kind of lead the charge on those questioning. So
Okay, cool. That sounds good to me.
and then sounds like Teo and Sven might go see their Sven's sister Anara, Teo's wife, And then Minerva and Devane might also have ideas, but I'll be right back.
Some indication of kin present B. Indication of kin present B.
Boy.
When both dance in twilight. I'm just thinking about the thing in the tome, and then thinking about this little prose on the wall.
I should get a protein shake. Prose on the wall.
Quench us with dire warning of future for she. When there is an indication of a Laelor. We've got the elephant, we got the ruins, and now we've got this. Dire warning of future foresee? And both dance in twilight.
Oh, I love these pictures.
It's an official song for.
I assume that Trek back would have allowed for short rest with just simple travel.
I don't know. Craig, can you short rest while
I
you walk?
actually think travel is specifically not short rest material.
Oh, shit, I'm still pretty messed up.
Yeah, resting on like a cart, if a cart is being drawn, could be short resty, but active traveling, my personal judgment would say no.
I also agree.
But if we have the time Minerva thinks we have, it sounds like we might have adequate time to rest here back in Athenian before we do anything. Or like, before we try and set out into dangerous territory again.
Yes.
Dire warning of future foresee.
Oh, is that the thing from last session?
Yeah. I'm just trying to make sense of both the cryptic things we've now encountered.
Also, Svenderin, Talia has never seen you fight before. But along our journey, she'll just say to you, Svenderin, I witnessed your skill with a blade, and I'm eager to grant you Sehanin's blessing next time we find ourselves in a situation where you have to defend Minerva's life. Let me know next time you think you're about to engage in some sort of altercation.
Certainly. Quench us. It's gotta be a liquid.
Yeah, Dew of Moon, gotta be a liquid.
I think on both ends.
I'm not convinced Fruit of Sun's liquid. I feel like, but I don't know if fruit is such an amazing poetic word that could mean any fucking
Exactly.
thing.
And
Which
I
is
think with-
awesome, but I doubt liquid is. That's not coming to my mind. I'm
well,
like an
quench
artifact
is
or a
what is
substance.
making me think liquid.
That's true, but it was originally feed. Mike just liked the word quench better, but
That's true. It's literally yeah. Go either way with that.
sustain me with those things.
Provide.
But to Devane's point, Dew of Moon being blood of a moon elf was fucking brilliant. That was an awesome, clever idea.
Sorry guys, we're running a little late here. I like poured myself a beer, and then like, you ever like try to cut a corner through a room when it's like there's like an object in your
Oh,
way?
no.
Trying to move so fast, and then I like spilled half of it, so we had to clean it up. So
Yikes.
I can't clip through fridges, I suppose. It's not a video game.
The
Or it's a
hitboxes are
really
too
well,
Yeah.
it's a really well refined video game. The first video game that was ever made bug free was Simulation Theory.
All right. I have my protein shake. So good.
accurate. Is this a decent? Let me get to it. Portrayal of like the door.
Ooh.
Dude, that's dope.
Yeah, really good. So the basins, I pictured like are a little out of sight from like
Sure.
when you're walking up, because I picture them as like on foot level, like they're even with the ground. So like if you went over to the corner, you could like put your foot into the basin, but it's like because it's like adhered to the corners. But I mean, it's a very nice picture. But anyway, so I see them as a little lower. I don't think that changes anything of what you guys are doing necessarily, but all right.
Picture helps. Thank you, MK.
Yeah. So, where are you guys at? You guys have gotten to the like you're outside the Moonset Grove, and what did you decide? Where do you want to head first?
Well, first of all, I think Silme and I can make way to the Lodge of the Eclipse, but Svenderin, will you start perhaps ruminating on a good excuse if we are stopped or occupied by Selethar as we are making our way through the city of why we've been traveling in and out? I don't know if we'll need it, but my hope is that you might be able to just have a good excuse in your back pocket, as it were.
Tis not the first time I've escorted Minerva on one of her academic experiments. Perhaps I can
Very
wing
well.
it that we had this approved for some time, despite the tenuous events happening on this day, or of yesterday particularly.
Perfect. That should suit us then. Are you and Teo off to meet your sister then, Svenderin?
Yes, that and a quick respite, as I am still quite weary from our bout with those creatures. Or spirits or guardians.
So you guys want to split up? Okay. Who's going where? I'm gonna let you guys kind of decide who you want to have ask. I'll let you guys pick where Minerva goes, essentially.
I'm going to Limstella.
Yes.
I will accompany
Feels like
Silme doing that.
Duvane, where do you want to go? To the sorority or to Anara's house?
Wherever Minerva's going.
Minerva's going. Okay. And do you guys have a preference on where Minerva's going?
It
As your
almost feels
characters.
like it should be like a three-way split up. Is there somewhere that like Minerva and Duvane can go together?
To,
That's
like,
true.
keep
Could they track
researching.
down different information? Anyone that Duvane or Minerva know? The problem that I see is in the political sphere, people are, well, not everyone's involved in that.
Or it's just
I wonder if
Minerva and
there's any
Duvane.
info
Maybe
you can
that
get.
makes sense that they just be doing stuff together, you know what I mean, in the library or researching or talking to somebody. It would almost seem like less suspicious that she's like, it's just the two of them than like all like four together.
We can do this if you guys want. Steve, I'm gonna
Let's go talk to Telperion.
That would be really fun, but I'm not gonna make us do that. I'm going to do something that we haven't seen as our normal characters. it's okay, I'm showing this because
Yeah.
we know this like the back of our hand, us as at the Wingay. So, Steve, if the goal is like we want to do a little bit of a three-way split, we can totally do that. I want to help you because like you're in a world where like Steve doesn't really know this place well, but your character would. So, and I also, as Minerva, don't want to like to hold your hand too much and like make you go where I'm thinking you should go. So looking at this, Steve, there's a couple things that might come to mind. You could go check out the Emerald Gardens and ask one of the garden keepers there. You guys could run up to the Preservers Athenaeum, which is the library archives of the Moonset, where you guys, I mean, Minerva's like a regular there, so they would be happy to have her. Or you could go to any of these other places that you're looking at here that would be like of interest to you, Duvain.
I want to go someplace related to the Cradle Amphitheater, whether it's like a storage of all of the transcripts of the plays, thinking that these cryptic ass words on this door might have some weird lore related or poetic poesy is apparently a word that I learned in a crossword this week.
Poesy? I love that.
Poese or sy. It's a 5-letter word. Very weird. I want to go see if the phrase "dew of the moon" or "fruit of the sun" comes up in any play or theatrical transcript.
Okay, yeah, sounds good. Does anyone want to go first? I'm impartial.
Where are the eclipses on this map?
Oh, that's a brilliant question. Let's say that they are back here.
How's the volume on Alex, by the way? Can you guys hear her well through the camera?
Yeah, her speaking up is helpful as opposed to, so that when she speaks a little louder than you, it helps.
Okay, I'll do that.
I also agree that Eclipse would have a tall tower where the moonlight can more easily reach it, and I would say in the north portion of the city is probably where some more filtering through of the canopy can take place. So I agree with that being the Lodge of the Eclipse.
Sweet.
So Selmay and Talia, you want to go first?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. So the two of you go essentially home towards the Lodge of the Eclipse, which is right here. They would have like, I just got some cool, vibe pictures. And so you go to where you are very familiar. Selma, do you live there? Do you stay at the lodge?
Yeah. All of the ladies of the Eclipse live there.
And Talia does too then? Okay.
Yep.
All right. So you go to the familiar site of your tall, like kind of also like a campus, like a couple small buildings, and then one real tall central tower. And I will, you enter, and I grabbed this just for fun. We don't really need it, but I just grabbed this as like to give a vibe of what the interior of the lodge would be like.
Ooh.
Very cool. Very cool.
So I thought that was a cool one, but I actually need to go back to this one for other reasons. So you go in, and there's like no fanfare as you enter. You pass by Leah and Elva, who are just like adjuncts that like kind of keep the towers running smoothly. And in fact, you might even ask Leah or Elva where Limstella
is the elder Limstella in her usual abode? Is she in a study or otherwise?
I wish there was a better word than Limstella, she's in the laboratory. She's working with her crystals this afternoon.
We will find her there then. You know the way better than I, Silmay.
All right, I'm gonna pick up the pace and head towards the lab. You said it's the laboratory?
Yeah, which I was thinking there was a better word, but I think that's just the word. I have a question. While Tim is not in this scene and Alex is, would you guys want to switch your mics so Alex has priority, or is there a problem?
Good idea.
No.
That's a fantastic idea. Oh.
So real quick, one problem is even though that's gonna work better. Yeah. because there was still an echo issue.
All right.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah. So, you go down the familiar halls towards the laboratory, and you knock, and you hear, "Come in." You enter, and you see. Oh, I just did something. You see Stella, who I obviously have a picture for. It's a very big picture. But Limstella Graymeyer, is it her name? That's her last name? Yeah. Limstella Graymeyer is the most senior member of the Eclipse, the organization that you two belong to. And she is working with charging crystals at this time. For what purpose? You're not really sure. But she sees the two of you and she says, how are the two of you getting on today?
Hey, Stella, we're doing really well. We had some questions for you. You know, last time we spoke, you said that anytime I needed anything that I can come and ask you. So.
I didn't expect that to be so soon.
Well, you know me, I always have questions.
Yes. You look particularly alike today. Have you been having a good day then?
Yeah, we've been having a really good day. I got to use my staff and I got to go on a real adventure. So that was very exciting. You know, I spend so much time up in this tower. I'd really love to be able to go on more adventures.
Oh. What qualifies as an adventure for you?
Tally's gonna jump in.
Able to use my magic.
Yeah, and Tally eagerly jumps in to aid that response and just says, "Oh, you know, one of Princess Minerva's experiments out in the woods. She insisted we come along this time." But
she like almost drops her crystal that she's working with, and she puts it down. She says, the Princess Limstone. Getting on well, are you? What kind of work is she doing?
You know, she's doing a lot of research. Not really quite sure exactly what she's up to, but yes, a lot of research that she, you know, we got to see some of her research actually. And we had some questions around some things that we were all kind of looking at together.
Sure. Well, I wish you had brought her here. Let her know in the future she's always welcome. We're eager to help her. But what was your question?
So, you know, we're just out and about. Minerva has her books, and, you know, we kind of just like stumble upon some words that we saw. I don't really know where these words were, but we read them, and one of the words that we saw was dew of the moon. Do you have any idea what that might be?
I would like Silme to make a deception check to keep this casual, because like you're kind of arousing her interest. So let's kind of just see how you're doing.
Could I also make an insight check on Limstella? For some reason, it flagged me as odd her extra interest at Minerva being brought into the conversation. I'm kind of curious what like facial cues she made, what her eagerness struck me as curious, and I'm just kind of trying to study her face right now and her mannerisms.
Yeah, go for it. Oh, really good. Okay. Limstella is, as you both know, like she is very like, she can be stoic, she can be very like well versed in like kind of keeping her private veneer up. But the two of you being alone and of the Eclipse, she is definitely more like less guarded with the two of you. So Talia, you know that the keen interest she just showed, she may not have shown at the presence of non-Eclipse members.
Interesting. Okay.
And you, I'm gonna say, a 22 is really high. All of a sudden, like, you've never really seen Limstella express an interest in Minerva, but all of a sudden it catches you kind of as like, why does she care about Minerva more than
and
others?
It almost
like,
seemed so and even if her guard's down, it almost seemed so instinctual that it was like on her mind or something.
But yeah, it was the second her name was mentioned. And I will say the last thing you glean with your 22 is it doesn't seem like she's not directing the conversation in any way that's regarded the current momentary circumstance of the new arrival and like the new loon saying not like she doesn't care about that. It seems like she's more just kind of asking about Minerva. It's almost like Telperion doesn't exist or any of the dramas that exists.
Gotcha.
And so Some, she you are like a special favorite of hers, so she's gonna just kind of say, okay, what is lunar? What was the question? You said of the moon?
Yeah, like, you know, when water collects on plants in the really early morning, like that kind of dew. Do you know, like, does the moon produce a dew?
That's a good question. That is rather poetic. I used to keep a lunar lotus in my greenhouse, but I haven't gone in there in a long time. It's kind of the gardens just take care of themselves now. They're a bit wild, untamed. Don't know. But anyway, no, I have.
I apologize, Elder. I'm not as familiar with flora keeping. Is a lunar lotus a rare plant? You speak about it as though it has some distinction.
It certainly can't just grow anywhere. I took special cares to get the seed for it. For many years, made sure it was in a spot of the greenhouse where it was getting moonlight at night. And they're rather delicate, and they do produce dew, I suppose, like a honey viscous liquid almost.
Fascinating.
Is this dew like magical, or like could it be used in any sort of spell casting or enchantments?
Almost certainly. Almost everything I kept in there was a plant that could be used for magical potency.
And so you're talking about your gardens, and that's why I'm asking you about this. This has nothing to do with what we've been up to, but I have questions about the garden now, specifically about fruits of the sun. Did you have anything having to do with fruits of the sun? Did you grow any of that?
I haven't kept up.
Talia grinds her teeth.
I haven't kept up with the garden in decades. My duties have grown, and it's one of the things I don't care for anymore. Fruit of the sun. I never grew too much fruit, nothing you could casually just eat. So I didn't keep any fruit in there, nor did I really keep anything that was more related to the sun than the next plant.
Elder, you mentioning the flowers you've grown. Is a flower considered a fruit of a plant? Biologically, I mean.
Come on, Alex, is it?
It's what's like before a fruit. A flower turns into fruit.
It's like the sexual organ.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Flowers can precede fruit, but like I said, I don't think anything. I would let you tour around if you want. I keep it off limits. I keep it locked, but I do have a key somewhere. If you want to go snip around.
Yes, would you, for Minerva's benefit, and I'm kind of keying in on the fact that for some reason there's an extra interest in Minerva, so I'm going to use Minerva's name like a weapon here. For Minerva's benefit, might we make of use one of your lunar lotus flowers for her scholarly investigation? I'm sure it would ingratiate her to you in some way.
Then she'll look at Selma and she says, absolutely, taking notes on that research. So the princess is always up to interesting things. And I would request, if I grant you this key and some of the belonging, in things of my greenhouse, take Minerva with you. I'd like her to see what we have here. She's not visited our campus in many years. And she'll go to a drawer and she'll pull a key out and she'll hand it to you, Talia. And she'll say, do be careful. I keep it locked because I think it's not quite tame anymore and I haven't had the time or interest to go tend to it, but don't enter lightly.
Very well. We will see if Minerva wants to join us as we seek the flower that she may be interested in. Thank you for your aid, Elder.
Thanks, Stella, and I like hug her and run off.
She like awkwardly receives your hug, knowing you're very affectionate. She says, "May Moon Shadow guide you this day." And she like kind of nods.
Oh, I hope it will.
Oh, Silme. All right. So I imagine the two of you kind of take your exit. Maybe you even go like rest for a little bit in your rooms.
Yeah, that's actually a really good idea. Silme, do you mind if we take a short respite before looking for the others wherever they find themselves?
Yes, I would love to spend some time in my room and brush my hair. So yes, I would love to take a rest.
Perfect. Tally will do the same.
All right. Shall we do Steve and Minerva next? Duvain and Minerva? Steve, I love your hat, your hoodie halfway up.
Sure, let's go.
All right, so Duvain, you would like to head to the Moon Cradle Amphitheater.
Or wherever they keep transcripts of the plays that are normally put on in the amphitheater.
Yeah, we'll say that there's a building in the Moondrop Amphitheater, which I didn't. Yeah, Moondrop really synergizes with Moondew, but that was like unintentional. So you go to the Moondrop Amphitheater. There is a very large tree here, and around this huge tree, with that's just like kind of swirling with like the overall ambient silvery energy of the Moon Crest Grove. I don't know if we spent a lot of time with like the fact that there's just like these ambient swirls of magic here or there.
Yeah, almost like streams of particulate shining moonlight that just like pervade everywhere.
And so you go to the Moondrop Amphitheater's like front area, and Aaron is working there, Eryn. And he says, well, we don't have any plays till this evening. What do you two need? Princess Minerva. Oh, hello. What could you be needing here? She'll look at you, Duvain. And I'm going to keep Minerva's dialogue minimal, as if you'd like to lead this.
Aaron, I'm not sure if you've heard word about the conflict against the Loonsong family, but Minerva and I are working a bit on a bit of a rebuttal. And as a bit of a speechwriter myself, I'm looking for, I don't know, some keywords and phrases I might be able to use and the origins of them. So I have two phrases, and I'm wondering if you could run through your mind and run through the transcripts, any plays or any dramatic scenes and descriptions that might have used these phrases. Dew of the moon and fruit of the sun. If those any references to any plays, I'm looking for something dramatic as my butterfly wings go out as I say that.
Love that. Aaron kind of looks nervous when you mention, like, he just looks super awkward when you mention like the tension, and like he's obviously heard the gossip today, and he has the princess like related to all of the gossip in front of him. But he'll like look at you and kind of get to business. Okay, so you said you need something, a play or dialogue about the fruit of the sun or the dew of the moon, to be clear?
I had these two phrases come to mind, and I'm wondering if there's any, I don't know, any other descriptions around those phrases that you might think of from other plays, some deeper meaning I can maybe lace into a dramatic speech, maybe.
Dramatic speech. All right, hang on. You know what? I'm a bad host. Come back here. And he like kind of takes your hands and he whisks you back into his like the back area, and you're in like a very comfortable little sitting room, and he says, okay, hang on, princess, Duvain, do you need any like beverages? Or it might take me a minute to go do a little research for you, but why don't you two stay here, and I got these couches, and would you like any like a private performer to come do a little poetry for you while I go research? And you can stop
Aaron, and I will like step forward. I'm assuming Aaron is shorter than me, just because I'm or short personality. Don't care. I will firmly grasp Aaron's shoulder. Aaron, matters are a bit in a rush at the moment, so I'd appreciate any haste you could make, and we can entertain ourselves. Feel free to just get to work. Thank you.
Okay. So this actually is going to work out really nicely. you two will have a short rest while Aaron is doing some research on your behalf. And he will come back after some time, and I don't want to forget Minerva gets a short rest too, so I'm going to start her short rest screen.
Yeah, can Silma and I trigger that as well for
and this will be a
respite?
good, like, at the end of all this, we'll all have had a short rest. So if MK and Tim want to start short resting too, because you're about to literally go to your home and your sister's place, so we can incorporate that too. So after some time, and Minerva and Duvain, chat. I'm not sure if Duvain has any questions. Like, I don't want RP questions per se, but like he might be. I know Duvain likes getting the inside scoop, so maybe he's like kind of talking with Minerva about that, and you guys maybe are going over a little bit of what you've just been through. But Duvain, Aaron comes back, and he has with him just a single transcript. And it is from a play called he says, all right, so all I was able to find, I like an encyclopedia. I basically live here, right? And I'm just I know all the plays pretty well. I've never heard of the term moon dew before. I don't know what that could be. Maybe rain on a moony night. I don't know. Moony night. But I did. Here's one thing. And in this play, and he like puts on this play, and he said this play is called The Night Blade of Passions, and they refer to a non-elven fruit that I've never heard of here. And it's this like fruit that the humans outside of they cultivate this, and it's very exotic, and it's like this fruit that is like, it's like yellowy, and it's very, they talk about it as a gift to the lover before the betrayal, the third act. And man, we haven't put this on in a while. They always love when we do this. We should probably put this back on again. But anyway, apparently it's an exotic fruit that makes a nice gift. Yeah, it's yellow. Nowhere in the Moonset or anything like that. Does this answer your question, Duvain? Is this helpful for the loon song?
Thank you, Aaron. Have an absolutely wonderful day. Would you mind if I took a copy of this?
This is our only copy, but and he like kind of looks at you, and he looks at Minerva. He's like, would you bring it back?
You know what? Hold on to it. I think I got what I need from this scene here.
And I, having made up literally all of that on the fly, I just want to emphasize one point to you.
Is that a lemon?
He's saying it's not of the Moonset. Exotic from far away. That's what I want to emphasize.
Exotic lemons.
That's what I'm like. They have this fascinating, exotic, beautifully delicate fruit. It's called an apple.
Banana.
I like my elves too much to sour them with a lemon. Did someone do a roll I need to check?
Just hit dice.
Yeah, right. Some of us were rolling hit that, but
oh, I got you. All right. Duvain, are you content? Shall we move on? Okay. Sven and Teo. You go.
Oh no, sorry. Go ahead.
I actually was going to guess where you're going. Did you want to tell me?
Yeah, I was just going to say we're going to head to the gardens. I assume that's where Anara, I think I had said that she planned to be there all day. So I'm assuming that's where we're going to head to find her.
Invited this morning.
I was interpreting that as meaning your personal gardens at your own home.
Sure, it could have been like I would assume I would know her schedule, so it could have been like, oh, she said she was heading to the gardens, like the Moonset Grove, kind of more like the communal gardens, or maybe more like industrial where they get their food from. And then maybe it was, oh, well, it's this time of day, so I know she'll be back probably tending to like our local gardens.
So I have your house here, so it's the gardens at your house that we're gonna send you to.
Well, yeah, that's I was trying to say. Yeah, that's what I was getting to. That's where we're at. Yeah.
I just really was excited for this art for your house. I hope you like it.
That's fantastic.
So we will say that, yeah, you know that maybe we'll say that she was planning on running to the actual gardens for maybe some fertilizer, some stuff, but she was going to be spending most of the afternoon in your personal backyard garden where she has like a tiny orchard and just like all kinds of flora. We'll even say that's her standing up front, so I guess there's an elf there. So yeah, you just kind of let yourself in with Sven. Sven, can you say your full name for me? I forget it.
Svendrin.
Svendrin. Okay, yeah.
Okay, I'm curious what Sven and Teo talk about like on the walk. I'm not sure how long it was, but like, what's our communication like?
Well, it was this morning, right before we had set off, that we were chatting. So I'd be like, kind of like, so you said, she was hoping to show me something. Do you remember what it was, or is it just one of her new plans? I'm not particularly well versed in this area.
Yeah, so how I'm curious, what do you just like not like gardening, or like is there a reason why you typically wouldn't want to like go there, or is it just like a fluke, like usually you do?
It's just Sven has a business first mindset. So like, if I'll pass you by, or she'll send me a letter asking me to come by, and like I've got guard duty that day, or patrol or something, or I know Minerva's heading out and I'm to accompany her. It's more often than not.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Something else to attend to.
Okay, I'll say I'll reply to that. Well, Inara, she said she was heading down to the communal gardens there. The Arms are coming in actually, so she wanted you to see them. I know they're one of your favorites, so but it'll have to wait until you're less busy, I suppose.
Yes, it is. Not often I am able to steal away time in such a way.
Well, it'll be great to have you. You should definitely stay for dinner with us.
I suppose that will work quite nicely with our schedule.
Fantastic. I guess we just kind of idle chit-chat.
Yeah. Wonderful.
It's canon. All elves definitely say schedule.
I don't want to say that. All right. So you two arrive home, and your home is empty, as you would expect, because Inara is out back working in the garden.
I will hang cloak up, bow up. I feel like I got like a peg by the door. I'll just put the bow up, the cloak, and then I just stroll on out like through the house to the back. I'm imagining.
I will follow suit.
And
oh wait, one last thing. Okay, as I'm heading out to see Inara, I whip out my butterfly knife, and then I'm imagining that he's got like a comb in his sleeve that he like sleight of hands out. It's like that, like they come out of his sleeves, and he's gonna like look at his reflection in the blade and like just fix his hair real quick before he heads
Assassin's Creed hidden blade, but it's a comb.
in a mirror.
Amazing.
So, I have not personally decided on Inara's like voice or accent, intonation, or anything. Do you guys have any requests, as you both have like co-conspired with this NPC? I will rock your request if you want.
I assume somewhat like light and dainty, as opposed to my just kind of stoic matter of fact. Like we're definitely two different aspects for being just direct sisters.
And I think of her as like light and dainty, but also like with like a thorn to her, like just a little bit of a little sharpness to her, like all right, well she's out back, and she hears Teo coming, and she says, Teo, how are you? You're back already? I thought you were gonna be gone for a while.
Yes, and I like hustle up to her and I like sweep her up in like a big hug. And I say, Inara, it's only been a few hours, but it feels like years since I've seen you. Your beauty has only grown since last we met eyes, and Just like our gardens are growing, your beauty grows every day. How are you?
I am beautiful, but you've also done something wrong.
What was that? What did I do?
I don't know.
Forgive me, please.
You haven't told me yet, but you wouldn't be sweet talking me for no reason. What did you do?
I don't think we've done anything wrong per se. Sven, what do you think?
And she literally hadn't noticed.
Kind of standing like right by the like back door, like waiting.
I want, for fun, Anara is now a level something druid, low level. Vines start to like creep at you, and she says, "You're here, finally. Oh, I can't wait to show you everything that has grown since you were last here. You know, you have the touch too. We both do. My gardens would be flourishing if you would come more often." And she just like kind of starts going on, and like I'm not gonna do all of it, but she's not stopping until you say something.
No, and that's definitely par for the course. There's kind of like suffering her sounds far too like hostile, but it's just like we're sisters. This is how she is. I know she's gonna keep rambling, so if Teo and I have something here we're kind of here for, better to let my sister
she's now, I've decided she's a level 3 druid, and so she pulls you guys over to this like table, and like your gardens are just gorgeous. Like there's just this awning with like vines, and the like there is like ivy, and it pulls out chairs for both of you. And she like goes in the house, and she comes out with like some like pink tea, and there's ice because of magic. And so she like just gets you really comfortable, and she just welcomes you back, and she says, well, I've just been doing my usual today. Have you two been up to anything interesting? Why are you together? Did Teo bring you to me? Sven, I told him to.
I did indeed. I told her that you wanted her to come see the arms down in the communal gardens today, but we unfortunately got sidetracked. We ran into... Sven, why don't you explain?
Well, yes, he was offering, and I was, perhaps unsurprisingly, letting him know that I had prior duties to attend to when we stumbled across the Lady Princess Minerva. And she seemed in a bit of a hurry, and sure enough, upon us kind of pestering her for information, turns out she had some mission to attend to, and so we've actually been outside of Athenian today on one of her academic expeditions, and she actually had a good idea to come ask you about something that she was a little stumped on.
I'll cut in and just be like, you see, my love, we've done nothing wrong. We were helping out a old acquaintance of mine.
An acquaintance does not beat an uncle. Would he care that you're helping Minerva today after what happened last night?
Probably not, but I don't care. Do you?
If you don't care, I don't care. He's not my uncle.
Then perfect. We don't care.
I care not for politics much. Svendra and I understand your loyalty to the princess. What can I do?
Well, she sent us with this puzzling phrase, and perhaps unsurprisingly, Taylethlia here and I both were a little stumped and had nothing else to add. I mean, if Minerva had something she couldn't figure out, it's unlikely the likes of us could have managed. But there's these two phrases that are cryptic but based in agriculture. The dew of the moon and the fruit of the sun. And she wasn't sure if it was literal fruit, if it's sort of an analogy.
So you're telling me that I'm going to help the princess. I'll send you with some a basket to give her too, with my aid. The fruit of the, or the sun, the dew, the moon. Have you? You know, I think that. Well, you know, Limstella, she hasn't been practicing her herb lore or box shaping in some time. Her and I, we used to discuss a lot, and both of you know that Limstella is the one that your two friends just went to, and she's the one that leads the sorceresses of the eclipse. She showed me her lunar lotus, the few of them that she maintained. Those produce like honey almost. That is very sweet, very efficacious when mixed properly with things. But she's been so strange. She doesn't talk with me about herbs or plants anymore, and she doesn't tend to her greenhouses. I used to visit quite often. It's been
Is
50,
there
60
something
years.
of significance about this specific lotus? Is it rare? Does it? I mean, lunar. Is it related to the moon in some regard?
Well, they're beautiful. They produce that fluid, like I told you, that can be used in different potions. They are odd. They grow better when moonlight is on them. But they're rare. You know, you don't just find them here and there, but there's nothing particularly
Have
rare.
you ever grown them?
No, they're just too finicky for my taste. And they do benefit from being inside with, little bugs can't get to them, and the foxes, they'll snack on them and just ruin all the work.
These things seem to parallel or foil, so seeing as this thing grows better in moonlight, it seems foolish to ask if there are fruits that grow better in sunlight, as that is the standard.
Fruit of the sun. All fruit is fruit of the sun. I could give you some fruit, but I don't know anything about fruit of the sun. Is that all you needed? Because
Anybody that you would know more about potentially plants or books where that information might be that we could go and research.
Or do you know of any exotic plants or fruit that are not native to us here in the Moonset Grove? Perhaps that is of note.
There is the carnival. They're not from the Moonset. Oh. And they have this. Have you seen the sign that Have you gone today?
We
actually was hoping we could go, Teo.
We actually passed a wagon of theirs on our way out of the city this morning.
If you see the sign up front, they have a tree on it, and there's like little suns in it. I don't know what it was, but it was beautiful.
We should go right now.
Okay. Yeah, I would go. I'm not doing anything.
Sven?
I mean, this was all I had on my to-do list, so for once, up to the task.
Wow. We'll be a joyous family, and we will go on a trip together to go find these sons.
Mike Google's Druid stat block, as you now have a companion. Would you like to short rest while you're at home?
Sure. I was imagining we sat down and
drank some
true. Water.
This takes the short rest.
I mean, that would have been her filling me in on the garden state.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're fair. That's true. Yeah. So, I actually.
Yeah, you guys sipping on the tea that she brought and everything.
I want to retcon. She says, I'm gonna actually join you later at the fair tonight. How about tonight, Teo? I'm not going to. I want to finish up what I was doing. I got some plants that need to be planted. They're sitting on the grass right now. But I could join you in a few hours at the fair. How's that? Would that be good?
Well, Nora, that sounds great. But I will miss you more than the plants miss the sun at night.
Ever the sweet talker you were. All right.
Teo's just very dramatic, and I feel like he's always that way, so she's probably used to it.
Oh, how's my hair? I've been gardening. Is it still good?
But I mean, I would. And he takes his comb out and just straightens it a little bit. Excellent, perfect.
Thank you so much. All
Thank
right.
you,
So-
sister, for your time.
Yes, and I'll see you soon, Svendrin, as we said. And how about 2 days? You come back full day. Next day off you have from your duties. Full day here in the gardens.
I'll see what I can manage.
All right. So I don't know that we discussed really where you guys would be meeting up, but I don't want to spend too much time in the interim unless so you all conclude your short rest, and is there a point where you guys would like to have said your meeting, or what was one of you planning to beeline to where the others were?
I'm trying to think from the Lives of the Eclipse. We're probably just thinking, and we didn't know where Minerva and Duvain were going to go, but we knew where the others would go. So I feel like at some point after we rest for a little bit, we might try and swing by Anara's house to try and catch Teo and Svenderin.
And Amara had even
Or at least that's
Stella.
what Talia would, yeah, or at least Talia would suggest that.
Yeah, we'll say that you meet them as they're kind of leaving, and Minerva and Duvain knew as well. And why don't we just say that everyone kind of meets in the middle of the city?
Very well.
As
Did
they're
you
like,
say there was you? I mean, you mentioned the carnival that we had seen earlier was in town. Is that like, as we're walking through the Moonset Grove, are we seeing commotion and traffic toward wherever they've kind of set up?
there's actually a little less traffic right now, because to be fair, a lot of people are politicking in like the embassies, and then the other common the common people who wouldn't be politicking are outside of the city where the carnival has set up, which
Okay.
is just
Gotcha.
outside
So
the
it's
city
outside of Athenian. Got it.
gates. The cart you saw was had empty stuff, so it was going in to fill up on things to go right back out.
Gotcha.
Got it.
Does anybody? I've renamed the carnival. Does anyone remember what it was named?
I don't.
Good. I don't want you to, because I said something and I was like, I wish I had said this. So I have said this, and I'll tell you when it's relevant. All right, cool.
I'll go
So
back and watch.
I'm just switching literally a single word. I want to step back because I've done a lot of talking. You guys meet in the middle and greet each other.
Well, hopefully everyone feels a bit fresher after we departed. We did make a successful discovery in some degree with the Elder. Silme was, helping lead the way in conversation with the Elder of the Eclipse, and she has produced for us this key, which will make us available to freely travel to her greenhouse, where she thinks lunar lotuses are maintained to some degree, which produce some sort of honeydew. Perhaps that could be suitable dew of the moon. I don't know, how fare your adventures with your sister, Svendern?
It is rather coincidental. She mentioned Limstella and her, they had once gardened together, but it seems that has not been the case for some time. But she also mentioned these lotuses and what they produce. In regards of the fruit, she didn't have anything she knew of, but she didn't mention the carnival, and they might have things that aren't native here that perhaps might illuminate us better, especially if we're thinking in terms of perhaps Ethelwinge and Elealor. It might not be a fruit that is native to any of our regions.
Interesting. I must say I'm less than optimistic that a wandering carnival will hold suitable fruit unless, like we suspected, the inscription at the ruins were vague in a way that would accommodate multiple solutions in a sense. But Minerva and Duvain, how fared your ventures?
Some mention of an exotic yellow fruit, something outside the Moonset Grove is all we were able to get from our gathering. So, um, not quite sure what even to make of it.
Very well. Well, if Inara suggested that the carnival had something she thought was of interest, we could try that.
Primarily just that they're going to be able to offer things that perhaps Stella or herself weren't able to.
Indeed. Inara seemingly has been gifted the blessing of Sehanin with her green thumb, so pushing pessimism aside, I am certain that the Moonweaver is guiding us intently, and perhaps Inara's words ring truer than I give them credit, so shall we breach the inner walls of Athenian and venture to the carnival and see what we can glean there?
Yes. Is there a way to ask about the fruit of the sun discreetly? Is there one of us that wants to do to ask around potentially? Maybe any random passerby might have some random bit of knowledge that they can share with us.
Interesting. I'm wondering who amongst us has the most integrated touch with the pulse of the common public. Perhaps even Svenderin in your rounds amongst the Selethar ranks might be better suited than I.
If you're asking, well, Duvain and Teo are both known for being very smooth talkers and pretty well known in town. Svendrin does know the Selethar, so but if you're thinking about like just literally grabbing a commoner to ask him a question, Teo would be probably pretty good at it, having like the expertise of like cutting hair and keeping people chatting while he's doing that. And then Duvain is just a social butterfly, literally, and knows kind of people around town. So those 2.5 might have the best time.
What I was trying to do is see if like, is there like a way to like phrase it so that we could ask this question about like, oh, like maybe there's a story we can tell, like, oh, I heard this or I read it in a book. Anybody know what this phrase means, you know? Instead of just like going up to somebody and being like, what's the flower of the sun, you know?
Yeah. That's a good question.
It was more of a question for the group. Like anybody got like a clever way to phrase it or like a story to come up with?
Perhaps in just the vibe of there being a carnival around, you could just kind of be like, come, listen to the mystery of the sun fruit or something. I don't know. Just kind of draw people in and then pitch them this vague thing and hope they are like, oh, I know what that is. I don't know. I've been playing Breath of the Wild, and there's like a couple quests that you start with just someone kind of telling you this vague thing, and then you don't find the answers.
Maybe I'll gather a crowd, and then maybe someone else wants to tell the tale. Can spin this riddle for the crowds, for the masses.
You could offer your services at the carnival for a quick. If someone wins their hand at long knife throwing or something, they could win a chance to have their hair clipped by Teolethalier himself.
What I was thinking
of the elite.
Exactly what I was thinking. Yeah, giving maybe the prize would be a haircut from me right here on the spot, but it goes to the winner of some riddle that maybe we come up with.
I like that.
We just give them the riddle of this door and see if anyone gets it. Minerva, shouldn't we be, if we, and I'm just assuming that everyone has shared their information fully and whatever, Minerva, time is of the essence. Shouldn't we be kicking down doors or something at some point? We have this key to this garden. Shouldn't we go get this? I almost said Mountain Dew. This
Lunar Lotus.
This lunar lotus to at least have one piece of it before, I don't know, going to this festival and seeing if they have any of these out of town fruits.
Duvain, if I may, based on the language used by the elder, she seemed to suggest that the flora flourished more in moonlight, and I'm wondering if we make our approach to the greenhouse in a few hours. It is late afternoon, early evening at this point. Perhaps we could check out the carnival and then, as a sort of final stop this evening, check it out where we might more easily find the flora in question. I suspect it will be more identifiable in the moonlight.
Minerva will answer your question, Duvain, and say, I do think we should. I was not particularly keen on just addressing the crowds, and we have a key and a suggestion of where the flower might be. I think we would. I'd like to go with the thing with certain enough to start, and then we can keep investigating. And I do want to just clarify, like, I didn't mean to suggest the flower shows up in the moon. I more meant like it's cultivated by continued growth.
Yeah, but I'm just suggesting it probably is like one of those flowers that is like maybe it opens more, or it's like in during time of day. I was thinking it might be more identifiable. I'm also suggesting like that we go to the carnival that might not last till midnight while we have daytime on our side. But if you guys are more interested in going to the greenhouse at this time, we certainly can.
I'll step back and let you guys keep deciding until.
Yes, allies. What do you think?
I mean, I definitely want to be able to go into the greenhouse because it sounded like it was pretty wild in there, and maybe it would be an adventure.
Yes, I should divulge that the elder thought, since she has not tended it for some time, it might have grown untamed and wild. Likely the magical flora that occupy there might present some challenge and difficulty freely traversing that space. Just something to keep in mind.
Well,
do you think that there'll be any people? Are there any like elves in this town who are sort of like outsiders who maybe like have information but are kind of seen as like a little crazy? Maybe we can get some information from a character like that, who would just like have inside information. You know what I mean? Like an urchin.
Teo would know the best. So Teo would know, because I don't think just the status of the other characters. Like several of them are kind of palace bound in general. Right. But Teo's like goes more out into the woods, and like I think it's like kind of like I don't know, but also we're all of our characters are a little bit elevated in class and society. So I would say that it might be kind of hard for this group to think of that, but you could go to like an area and ask some questions. Also, like
there might be more esoteric individuals exactly like that at the carnival. That might be where they gather and congregate. Silme, it's a good idea.
I will also just say, like, we're in like kind of in the middle of town and people are coming and going, and like if you see people, you can go ask them a couple basic questions about the carnival. Like I want you to know that there are people you can grab for a random question or two if you have them. Like you don't have to, as the 5 of 6 of us, just be here puzzling. There's people around you can have a question.
I'm imagining if we're agreeing to head towards the carnival, maybe we would like catch somebody that's like clearly going in the same direction. Like if I notice somebody that I know at least their name of that like is clearly taking the same turns, maybe they're ahead of us, maybe I'll just like jog up and be like, hey, are you like how are you, like are you going to the carnival? Like and just ask
Yeah.
them and see what they say?
You grab Belia, who is a woman you cut her hair once, and she says, "Yeah, I'm going to the carnival. It's gonna be in town for a couple of days. I'm excited. They stay open really late, and there's a ton of attractions, and like you can get prizes. So, it's been a busy day, so I'm excited to go spend my evening there."
Okay. I'm not gonna ask her anything specifically, but I'll say, yeah, like, do you know what's the like big attraction? Where is there one specific thing that like everybody's heading to, or we're gonna find like the biggest crowd?
That's a hard question. There's so many exciting events. You can bet on the races. There's costuming, but the market's really unique. The swan rides are supposed to be really gorgeous, and then there's the prize tent where if you get enough charms, if you win enough charms, you can go into the prize tent and get the prize from there. So, a lot of attractions.
Thank you.
Belia.
Someone with Belia. I'm gonna head back to my friends, but schedule an appointment anytime. See ya.
You've been so busy, but I'll try. And then she walks away.
Yeah, I go back to everybody and I'm just like, yeah, she didn't know where the biggest crowds would be, but it sounds like it's just gonna be pretty popular overall. So if we're, either looking for somebody in particular or we're gonna get a big crowd together and try to crowdsource the answer to this puzzle, I mean, we'll find somebody there.
And Anara mentioned that there was some painted board or something, or a banner of some kind that indicated motes of sunlight on a tree. I recommend we all pay attention to iconography of that might direct us to some sort of event or stall of some kind that could prove fruitful.
Let's go there first.
Okay, can I pause our game for a second? I want to give the party, I have a question for the party. I don't know I think it's kind of becoming clear. I got mini games and I got a combat, and you guys as a party can decide what you're in the mood for. So I will say you can do either one first, but if you guys are like, we've done a lot of RP, so whichever one you guys are feeling the vibe of, you could choose. I just want you to know, like, that's how the tempo of our session can be. So I will untime out and you guys could vote as your party. Yeah.
My vote would be that we feel somewhat confident that we know exactly what to do at the greenhouse. It perhaps may be dangerous in some regard, but we know what we're looking for. I suggest that we pursue the carnival first to continue gathering information, knowing that at a moment's notice we can go collect the lunar lotus at the greenhouse whenever we need.
I agree.
I also imagine there's probably some sort of a expiration on the flower or its dew, that if we prematurely collect it and we aren't away in haste, we might arrive and it not work, and we might think that it doesn't work when it might. Yes, if we believe that to be one part of the puzzle solved, I think it's better to leave that till closer to our return.
That was 3 out of 5. Minerva won't care. All right, so you guys walk out of town and you approach the festival, and I'll describe the festival. I'll put the map up after. So the 6 of you head out and you approach the festival. The festival has a lot of it's very colorful. There's a lot of attractions. There's different creatures that are represented as not statues, plasticky, plasticky. They're painted wood. Very interesting, colorful things to stare at. Lots of colorful awnings and tents. And in a large sign, you see where it says Daystar Carnival, and there is like you were told, a painting of a tree with little suns in the branches. And you walk up and enter, and I do have a titled version, but you haven't earned the titled version yet. But I will let you digest this for a minute. Very familiar to those of you who remember Horror Carnival. There's not that many good carnival maps, and this one's so wonderful. So you
It's a
guys
good one.
go up,
Ooh, what's your
and
plan?
I don't know. We never talked about how much gold you have. You each have 100 gold in your pocket, right? You're rich. You're all. It doesn't matter. You have enough for entry though,
I
which
have a
is
stipend from the Salathar.
yeah. Um,
I have the
So-
allowance that Lim Stella gives me.
um, Steve's character. So you go up, and there is a elf, of course. There's a elf who is just kind of schmoozing up in the front, and he's giving out tickets. And he explains the context of the Daystar Carnival. And he says, "Hello there. How are you all doing today?"
We are quite well, and I offer my hand, like very delicately and formally.
He does a very
to,
dramatic, like suave, like he's totally a showman. Kiss of it, and he says, "Many interesting folk here visiting the Daystar Carnival today. Would you each like to purchase yourself your ticket? Your ticket comes with 3 punches on it. Each punch may be used for a festival attraction. The market does not count. And with your punch card, you get this silver charm bracelet." And he hands out, and let's say he has cool mage hand powers. He mage hands each of you a ticket with 3 punches on it, a silver charm bracelet with no charms on it, and a map, so you can see where the different attractions are. And he says, if you are lucky enough to earn yourself 10 charms, then you can go to the prize tent. Your charms will gain you entrance, and you may choose a prize. Do you have any questions for me? My name is Hothranen Spritekeep. I run the carnival here, and you can call for me if you have trouble, questions, or anything of that sort.
You said your name was Hothran.
Hothranen, yes.
Hothranen. I did have one question. The sign that is painted out front with the beautiful imagery of the tree and motes of Corellan sunlight amongst its branches is rather breathtaking. Is that in reference to an event or a display here?
You wouldn't have me give away the prizes, would you?
They are prizes to be won.
And the prize tent, that's the point of the carnival. You earn 10 charms, you gain entrance to the prize tent, and you can take a prize. We are from far across the Emerald with many exotic, interesting prizes to be won.
I see. Fascinating.
Any other questions, my friends?
Yes. What sort of events do you have available? I heard there was perhaps costuming.
I would recommend you all look at your map at this time that I handed you, because I have labeled in my wonderful handwriting in MS Paint, I have put the different stations you may visit. Here on our small, we are a magic carnival. We have expanded the natural pond or stream river here into a beautiful swan lake where you can do swan rides. All these are for prizes, I will say. The market, I will say, not for prizes, just for fun. You can get yourself a fairy trinket. The fig berry cake contest, for those of you who are ready to stuff your maws full of the best fig berry cake you can imagine in the Emerald. There is the bouts in the middle for those who would like to test their strength against another. Archery, of course, if you'd like to throw daggers or darts, that is acceptable as well. Those with a dexterous touch may enjoy that. Costuming, the goal, to fool a judge so they don't know who you are. And then there are the fairy fox races up at the top. You can gamble to your heart's content.
Fascinating. What sort of competency must be displayed in the swan rides to earn, I suppose, charms?
I will say they will explain when you arrive, but you need to be able to guide your swan towards the clusters of crystal we have placed in the water. You want to have as many in the swan's mouth by the end of your time.
Very well. Well,
But on with
how
you
about it?
to the events. Good day.
Yes.
The line is far behind you.
What do you all
We're
fancy
clogging
trying?
up the line. Divide and conquer, or shall we gather our strength and
I'm gonna go do archery. Bye, everybody.
So you each get to do 3 events. You can do a similar. If you do them, I'd like to do only one at a time. So if we know archery is going to happen first, we can do archery first. When I said I took on a little more than I can chew, the bouts, the rules are rough. We'll just probably be doing like contests of something. That's the one I haven't gotten mechanics for. Yeah, the market also is free for everybody, and you're rolling for a trinket. So where'd you guys like to start? Archery.
Prize tent.
Prize tent. Okay. You currently have a charm bracelet on with no charms. You need 10 charms to enter.
Yeah, we
I
gotta
want to go to the
collectively
doorway.
earn.
I want to go to the doorway of the prize tent.
Okay, you go to the doorway of the prize tent, and it is a twin of the man who just let you into the carnival.
Can I see
Amazing.
behind him into the prize tent?
Absolutely not. It is the prize tent, the most important part of the festival. It's shut until you gain entrance. He says,
Very
"Do you hate fun? Are you trying to skip the fun?"
I'm trying to prevent someone from being murdered.
No better place than that than over at the archery. You see some of the shots they're taking? I will murder you if you try to come into my tent.
Sounds like a fun threat from an NPC.
What else do I have?
Unprovoked threat from an NPC.
You brought up murder, my friend.
I
All
might
right.
like to take things easy at the start and ride a beautifully graceful swan. Silme, might you be interested in joining me in that endeavor?
Yeah, for sure. And then also, I want to do the Fig Berry Cake contest.
All right.
Hmm.
So why don't we? Okay. I will say this, Steve. You watch as Minerva skips through all of this, goes to the prize tent, and you kind of walked away at this point. And you see her start talking to the prize keeper. And you see that he's not smiling anymore. And both of them are kind of staring at each other and discussing really intently. And you notice, roll me a check. You can do insight, or you can do arcana. And I'll let your arcana be based off of your wisdom. Actually, no, it's a regular arcana. Yes, insight. You hear Minerva singing a little bit, but then she walks away angry and she joins you. Shall we earn some prizes then?
Did the little twit not let you in either?
No, and he resisted my suggestions that he do so.
Shall I hit him?
I think it might not take that long to earn some prizes. We do have till tomorrow night, and we have a strong lead. I'm forgetting to use a British accent. I think we can do this carnival for a few moments, and it won't be that problematic.
Follow your lead, Minerva.
All right. My carnival song was not looping. So why don't we do the swan rides first? Yeah. Did anyone but Silme wants to do swan rides? So did Talia. Who else? Anyone else want to do swan rides?
Can we hear what it's going to
Absolutely.
require before we decide?
Yeah. Why don't we just I'll just put you all there so you guys can all listen up to the swan rides. Okay, so the swan ride, is let you guys walk over to swan rides, and a little gentleman named Falil introduces himself, and he says, "Hello, all the NPCs have my voice here because that's a lot of carnies I'd have to be impersonating. He explains that there are 6 huge lily pads, right? Well, you see with your own eyes, there are 6 huge lily pads resting on the surface of this little elven pool, glistening with phosphorescent algae. Giant swans float between these lily pads with elves in elegant seats on their backs. The giant swans are white with pearlescent sheen across their feathers, and their graceful necks are etched with reflections of the rippling water. So you ride a swan, each of you individually, and then you perform animal handling checks at each of the lily pads where they have placed crystals at the bottom of the pool. The better you are at guiding your swan while their head is under the water, the better odds they have of coming up with a hunk of crystal in their mouth. And you are trying to get as many crystals as possible. Some of the lily pads have more people swarming at them, so some of them might be harder than others. And he tells you that you can egg on your swan if you'd like, meaning you can make your animal handling check at advantage, but if you still fail, you'll lose some of the crystals it's holding in its mouth. That's swan riding.
Okay,
Very
2
well.
questions about this.
Yeah.
1, are these games rigged? And
Ooh.
2, are these swans gonna bite me? Because
Ooh.
swans are territorial.
These are enchanted Ithilwinge. No, they're not Ithilwinge swans. They are enchanted swan. They actually are. They're not Nimberthil swans. They are enchanted, happy swans. These are magical, not territorial pearl swans. So they will not bite you. But these are not rigged. But Mike Jacoby did his best to balance them, and I probably made them too easy. But so they're not rigged, I don't think. I'm not trying to shaft you guys. I wanted you to get to play some fun mini games. So yeah.
I'm just saying, you know, like at carnivals and stuff, like you're like throwing things and like the bottle head is like too big for the ring. It's like,
Yeah.
is the carnival guy gonna screw? He seemed like a shady guy.
You look at Faliel and you feel some weird trust that he's not trying to fleece you out of your lunch ticket.
Okay, good. I'm ready.
All right. So who, now having heard swan rides, do you guys just want an oversight of all of them? I can give you a briefer oversight so you can pick how you want to spend your 3 punches.
3 punches. That's what I was about to double check.
So fig berry cake contest, you're going to make some constitution checks and you're going to try to eat as many cakes in a minute as possible. The more cakes you eat, the more charms you get. Archery is a test of accuracy. You are trying to score into the center of archery, target. Bouts is fuzzy. You guys can compete against each other and wrestle or something. Maybe I'll let you use like wooden weapons that represent your actual weapons, and you guys can do that. I will say the figberry cake. I'll tell you the figberry thing later. Costuming, you literally everyone who's doing that contest will present themselves to 3 judges. You then go and you put on a costume of your own choice amongst the many costumes they have, and you are trying to out-deceive or outperform their insight to tell who is wearing which one, because they're trying to guess, like, this one was Talia, and they're going to guess randomly. And then the races is just gambling. You're just betting on the fox racing, and then that's it. And then the market, everyone gets to do for free, and you get a fairy trinket.
For getting a fairy trinket, is there an opportunity to get a charm that could count toward a prize?
There is. It's just very slim odds, but yes.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. You could roll it. You could roll that. Right.
So I don't forget what I'm planning on choosing.
Oh yeah, actually, it'd be really helpful if you guys want to put your 3 things on there. That would be phenomenal. I will also say you guys can ask Minerva to join you in certain ones. I'm kind of impartial with her right now. And the market's free. All of you get to do that, so you don't have to count that in your thing.
Talia is very emphatic that Minerva, you should spend some time with Silme and eat together at the figberry cake contest. I'm sure that you two will have a ball doing that. I, of course, won't be partaking in that, but my stomach is just delicate, you understand?
I'm ready to eat.
Talia, you have the strongest constitution of anyone I know. I think that you would excel in that contest. I unfortunately am allergic to fig berries, so I won't be able to stuff my face in front of people. All right. So
Yeah, they're both very refined individuals that do not want to sully their reputation by having shit all over their face and
1,000,000%. But I did make that
Yeah.
contest thinking of your 19 Constitution.
That is pretty funny. Talia's very opposed to the idea. Well,
Oh my
I'll tell
God.
you what. I'm going to ask Minerva to make a persuasion roll, and that's going to determine whether or not Talia. It's going to have to beat Talia's passive insight,
Excellent. I love it.
and if you beat that, she will do that.
Persuasion.
Unfortunately, Talia is pretty opposed to the figberry idea.
Minerva says, I'll do it with you if you do it, but I'm not doing it without you.
If you join me, I will give it a go.
Excellent. The three gorgeous Carewhip
Yes.
elves are going to do the contest. Okay. So let us do the Swan Ride,
Yeah, we got 3 on Swan.
which includes Duvain, no. Who's doing Swans? Talia, Duvain, and
Silman.
Vilme? Okay. Swan, Archcake, Swan Rides. Okay. Yeah, and Minerva's not gonna hop on a swan right now. Yeah.
Teo,
Okay.
holy shit, your number 3 is amazing.
I know, I'm obsessed. Okay, so Swan Rides. Let's get on some swans. This is the one I just wrote in detail to you guys. So, you, as the 3 of you, Duvain, Talia, Silme, you each get on an individual swan. You get to pick which one. And the swan takes off without too much, it kind of knows where to go, but at each of the lily pads is this like contention of these massive swans, and there's elves at each of them on their swans trying to get down there, and you only get one swoop by each one. The swans do know to go in like a kind of course. So if I can have you guys, I will say this other thing. There's not a lot of supervision at this one. The person lets you on the swans, so if there's anything, I'll leave space for any tricks before I say.
Yes, I am definitely. Talia is like, each time the swan's gonna do something, she's just gonna stroke its feathers and sing to it in Celestial, knowing it won't understand, but she's actually saying a prayer to Sehanin to filter the sunlight in a way to aid its descent. And I'm just gonna keep casting guidance for each of the checks if you'll allow it.
It pays to be a caster. You can do it.
I cast Summon
Let's
Fae.
go.
I'm casting Summon Fae to summon a giant elvish swan that I can ride. I don't want one of these cheap carnival pieces of shit.
All right.
Nice.
You summon one, and I will say that the Carney is looking the other way. They don't notice you summoning your own. What kind of?
I'm gonna ask you a question that's very material focused. What is what is it, Alex? You just had to earn this. What is the gilded flower that you use to cast this spell with?
What?
Like what awesome gilded flower do you use in the casting of this spell?
Does that get consumed?
No.
Yeah.
It does not get consumed. You just can continue to use it. But I just want to ask you to flavor it, since it's something Rome has specifically sought out and earned. Just putting you on the spot to say, hey, what does it look like when you cast this?
It is a diamond chrysalis of a what the fuck what does a caterpillar go into? Cocoon. It is a diamond cocoon.
Very cool.
Yeah.
I'm gonna just have you take +4 to all your animal handling checks. Or wait, what's your proficiency? +3?
Proficiency is +3. Spell casting is +4.
Double your proficiency for these animal handling checks since you summoned your own one, right? Does that sound fun and fair? You cast a spell to make it easier. I like that. Okay. Silme, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I cast message and I whisper to the goose.
Okay.
You
Goose.
beautiful beast, we're gonna win this thing. Swim as fast as you can. We need to win.
Okay. For 3 of your checks, I'm gonna give you an extra D4 you can add, and you can pick the 3 of your 6 because you guys are doing 6 checks total. All right. To reward that cantrip usage. All right. Is that all good? All right. Like I said, I just kind of am roughing the balance of these, so we'll see how it works out. But Swan Ride, the three of you approach your first one, and do remember at any time you can egg on your swan. You'll make your check with advantage, but you will lose 1d2 crystals from the swan's mouth if you still fail the check even with advantage. So everyone, go ahead and roll me your first animal handling check of the course.
Seeing Silmay's desire to win kind of makes Talia kind of want to win. So can I egg the swan on for even the first check?
Yeah, it's kind of smart because they're you don't have any crystals.
There's less to lose. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that too. Like seeing that Talia is trying to one up me, I also egg on my swan.
It's good to do on the first one when you have no crystals to lose.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Well, you made it with advantage, and you had a 10, and
15 total.
I think I'll just tell you guys the ACs of them after you've done your rolling. The AC of this check was 10 because it was the first one, the easiest. So if you beat a 10, Duvain, you get 2 crystals with a nat 20, right? That sounds fun. So Talia, why don't you guys just tell me how many you get? Or I'm sorry, if you did, everyone beat a 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1, and then 2 for the nat 20. Okay. All right. Second crystal, or second lily pad. You each now hold 1 crystal in your creature's in the swan's mouth. Now you can start risking. You'll start losing something. You risk loss if you do the advantage. But the AC is higher for this one. Go ahead.
Are we competing against people, or are we just trying to get as many as possible?
The more you have, the more charms you get when you win at the end.
Also, let's not forget if you're doubling proficiency, Duvain, that would have been a 28.
30.
So you can't do advantage at this point, but you're not going to lose anything because you know. And then also you do have 3d4. You can add a d4 to 3 of your rolls, but you won't. A 1 won't get saved.
I'm gonna stick my goose on Duvain's goose.
Oh.
You also aren't
Goose
competing against
spice.
I guess I should say you're not competing against each other. You're just trying to get as many as possible, but you can do that.
Yeah, it's a collection minigame.
All right, Talia is still rolling.
23.
Okay, and Duvain was 15.
21.
All right, and we'll just let Silmay's 1 be because you sicked yours on Duvain, and we'll leave that there. So Silmay, sadly, you don't earn 1 here. Talia and Duvain do. All right, next one. I'm going to tell you this is the highest one, DC one.
On the way to the next lily pad. At the same time that I bonus action give myself 30-foot fly speed, my Fey Swan is going to Fey step 30 feet to where I land. So it's going to disappear under me and it's going to land underneath me. And then it's going to use its mirthful presence to try and charm the goose that just attacked Duvain.
Okay, how do I deal with this?
You need to make your goose needs to make a wisdom saving throw against my spell save DC.
Stop calling my swans.
I counterspell.
Oh yeah, swans.
Your swan needs to make a wisdom spell save. Against...
Wait, can't I counterspell? I counterspell that.
Do you have counterspell?
It's not a spell.
Yes, I do have counterspell.
It's not a spell. It's an effect of this one.
Oh yeah, it is an effect, not a spell. Yeah.
You guys have a combat later. All right.
I have
hang
the
on.
swan stat block pulled up.
I'm gonna. So the swan's making a whiz save.
It's
Wisdom
plus
save,
1.
please. Yes.
I'm wisdom.
It rolls a 15.
That's your swan.
I rolled for your swan for you.
Oh, okay.
That's fine. It passes.
Okay, so I will say this: you have a slightly lower DC because you moved ahead like that. But it won't work a second time. Duvain. But you do have a lower AC to beat on this one. So why doesn't everyone roll me their checks?
Can you egg on a swan more than once, or you can only do that once in this thing?
You can egg on a swan every time.
Okay, I'm gonna egg on my swan, even though it's a more difficult one, because I want to kind of surge ahead, even though positioning's not really part of this.
Yeah. I'm not gonna look at any of these numbers. You just tell me your total, because you guys, I know there's modifiers all over the place for this one.
16.
Okay, and you did not egg on, correct?
No, but I did add my D4.
Okay, you're unfortunate. This is the hardest one, and you don't get your swan goes down and comes out not with a new crystal, but not having lost your old one. Duvane, what happened?
15.
You as well, and you didn't egg on, but you have a lower. You still, even though with the lower AC, this was the hardest one, so you did not. 15 doesn't get there. And Talia,
I did egg it on, but I think it might have worked at a 24.
it does work. This being the hardest one was the 20, and so you do get 1, and you don't risk losing it because yeah. So excellent. Next one. This one's a lot easier. Pad 4. Go for it. Any shenanigans?
Guidance every time if you'll allow it, but
that's okay. And then Alex, don't forget you get 3 D4s. You get to add a D4 to 3 of these.
Yeah, I'm gonna add my D4. 16.
16, you get a crystal. Duvane?
Yay.
16 for me as well.
You get a crystal as well. And then Talia.
17.
Nice, you get a crystal as well. So it's 5-5-2 right now. And again, you're not competing against each other. You just get a prize for how many you get afterward. All right, check 5. Go for it.
Who has 2?
Silme.
I thought somebody passed them. Oh. I thought everyone.
I'm gonna egg on my swan again, just because I want to.
Your swan's gonna hate you.
13.
13 does not meet it.
No.
Flip the
So-
coin.
A 1, you lose 1d2. So odds is 1, even is 2. You lose 1 of yours, and you don't get a
Okay.
new one. So you're down to 3.
Okay.
Duvane, what'd you roll total?
High 25.
You get your 5th one. Silme, how'd it go?
12.
All right, you sadly do not get a new one here either. Last one. Go ahead and roll.
Once more, definitely egging on. 13.
Silme!
0. I fall
Duvane
off my
got-
goose. I'm like in the water.
Meh.
Duvane, you got
Net
another
1
one.
minus 1. Amazing.
25.
25? Yeah, oh Jesus, you got it. And then Silme's in
Telling
the
got
water.
13. I'm trying to like drown my swan.
Yeah, that's
Go
nearly dead.
under!
Did you roll an advantage too?
Yeah, 12
Oh,
and 12
no.
plus 1, so 13. So I
So you
lose
have to
another one.
Yeah, you
Or
lose,
maybe more.
You lost 2 because
So I'm down to 1.
you're down to 1. All right. At the end of all of this, you guys get off your swans. You go up to the prize person and you hold up your charm. Silme and Talia, they swat your wrist away instead of giving you charms, but you, Duvane, get 3 charms.
Sweet.
Also, you guys can pool charms. We'll get to that later.
I knew the game was rigged.
Actually, wait. Did either? Yeah. Silme, I'll give you a single charm. You had 2.
Not me.
You had 1, so no.
No.
1 charm.
1 charm. So please keep track of charms because I won't keep track of those for you. All right. So that was that one. I want to make sure that MK and Tim are in on this next one, so people aren't sitting out for 2 in a row. But now we've totally lost that list.
It exists.
Now let me-
We both had archery and bouts.
Correct.
were
Let's
two
do
that
archery
we both
then.
had.
Okay, we'll put you guys right here. Archery. All right, archery is gonna be pretty simple. There's 3 rounds of archery: qualifier, the semifinals, and the finals. The AC goes up each time, and the higher you go above the AC, the more points you get. So let's say the AC is 10, if you get at least an 11, you're 1 point over, you hit the target, or it needs to beat it. 2 points over the 10, so if you get 12 or higher, oh no, you would earn yourself 2 points if you beat the AC by 4, and then you would earn yourself 3 points if you beat the AC by 8, and that would be bullseye.
Is this using like longbow stats?
I'm gonna make that 3 and 6. Yeah, this is longbow stats.
Okay, I'm gonna add a longbow for this, and then I'll get rid of it, just so I can look at the number.
Okay, so qualifiers. It's just the two of you, right?
Me too.
Duvain.
Oh, Duvain as well? Okay, very good. And I said you guys can use darts, you can use slingshots, you can use any ranged, not like any ranged device you like that's like dexterous.
It's the same.
Not,
I'll use a dagger.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because you can use your strength for a dagger.
Oh, that's true. Yeah. You can do a thrown weapon.
My dex and my strength are the same modifier.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Oh, cool.
So you guys go up, and Ohabi, a very tall elf, she's very shrewd, and she's kind of like eyeing everyone up, and she's like, shoot your shots. So you have the run of the archery, and the number of points you get correlates to how many charms you get. I'm probably gonna keep my scoring pretty similar, or yeah. So why don't you guys go ahead and shoot your first shots?
I pick up a dagger because.
Teo, do you steady your aim?
Yes, I take out I call it Ithalug, means moon dragon, and I pull it back, magic arrow blast, use my bonus action to steady my aim. I'm not gonna sharpshooter it, I'm gonna regular just fire it.
So I'll just announce the AC for this one is 12.
And there wouldn't be any bonus based on damage, obviously.
No, it's an accuracy.
So there's no benefit to me raging.
And the AC goes up. You said there's harder targets?
Yeah.
Unless, can you reckless throw something? That might give you advantage.
I absolutely can.
But that might be it may be based in melee though. Check
melee
reckless
weapon
attack
rolls, yeah.
Okay, so
using
no throwing.
Strength, which you can do on damage.
Yeah, but no throwing though.
All right, Teo.
20.
Duvain.
Let me scroll back down.
And Sven.
22.
All right. So Sven and Teo, you both get 3 points because you exceed the AC of 12 by at least 8. Sven or Duvain, that's a flat 11.
Yup.
You.
Are you still on the back of your face one?
What?
No, it's still following me around though. It has a few minutes left.
Oh. Everyone gets to move on to next rounds anyway. You just don't you don't get any points from this round. And just for fun, wait, no. I'm not gonna, I have too much going on to have there be. Oh wait, you know what? Minerva's gonna join you guys. She's gonna do this as well. Because she has a pretty high dex. So she wouldn't pass this one up. So 3, 4, 5, 6. So I gotta add 6 to this. And she doesn't have any tricks up her sleeve though, magically, I don't think. Blade Ward, Prestidigitation. Nope. Alright. She actually does really well too. And so she gets a 16 plus 6. So she earns herself 3 points as well. Alright, next round, everybody. The AC has gone up. It is now 14.
Duvain's gonna go over and pick up a short bow because his dagger is now lost in the woods.
I will say this: they have a row of throwing daggers for this throwing contest. If you'd like to use one of theirs, okay?
No, I'm picturing this with a short bow in my hand because he will whisper to himself, "No risk, no reward," and he will cause his wings to flutter real fast, and fly 30 feet straight up, and hopefully have a good vantage on this downward angle on this target. To potentially maybe get advantage on the shot.
Go for it. Take advantage.
Before he plummets 30 feet.
Oh no. Teo, they're showing you up a little bit, man.
What was your total? 19, Teo?
19. Yeah, maybe Duvain like slams back down to the ground and like shakes Teo a little bit.
How much damage?
He
would
doesn't
Duvain
get
do?
exactly a bullseye, but pretty
So
close.
you do beat the 14, but not enough to get 3 points. You do get 2 points, I believe, because you went by 3 over it. Yeah. So Teo gets 2 points. Yeah, you have to go 6 to get the 3. So another there, and then Duvain, you get 3 points.
Love it.
1, 2, 3. And then Sven, you beat it by at least 8, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3. And Minerva does not hit on this one. She rolled pretty low. All right, last one. Go for it, everybody. Yeah, Duvain, oh, 12's not bad. If you fall 30 feet, though, how much damage are you supposed to take for that?
3d6?
1d6 per 10 feet, I think.
Do you fall on somebody?
But he succeeded. He got past 10, so it should be half.
Six damage I take.
Did you roll it? Okay, you take 6. Unless you want to have fallen on somebody or an awning or something.
No, I imagine the 12 was because I fell on my swan, which then promptly disappeared.
Well, if you fall on your swan, I want you to take a quarter of it. All right. What'd you guys roll total?
16.
Okay, so the AC for this is 16. So you get 1 point, Sven.
Oh, is this for the third one?
19.
The third one, the AC is 16, yes. And you did 19, Tim?
Yeah.
All right, 1 point for you. No, 2 points, because you beat it by 3. Exactly.
We're back even.
Duvain?
For the third one, I'm not going up in the air. I am just casting Ice Knife.
Minerva gets 1 point because she meets it. Ice Knife? Sure. you get 1 point.
Is there someone tending the targets who then gets exploded on by the ice knife?
Yeah, but they're like no one. They don't matter at all.
They don't matter at all.
All right. So we did have a couple bullseyes with people who exceeded. So 5, 6, 7 total for Teo, 7 total for Sven, 4 and 4 for Minerva and Duvain. So Minerva high fives you, Duvain. And let's
High five Sven. And the others as well. High fives all around, but I'm gonna say Sven, nice shooting there. You showed me up there on that first shot.
So let's do 3 charms apiece for Sven and Teo, and then 1 charm apiece for Duvain and Minerva.
Does that mean we have 10?
We have over 10 now if we pool them.
Yeah, but you don't have to pool them. More of you that go in might be the better. You're not really sure on that front yet.
That's a good point. Let's give ourselves at least 2 shots at whatever prize is in there.
All right, you guys ready for? Did someone want to do costuming or the fig berry contest?
I promised Minerva I would, so Silma and Minerva and Silme and Minerva and Talia could do Figberry.
I also am doing Figberry.
I want to say Figberry for last because that's Steve's last, and I want to.
I don't. You can. I can. It's fine.
Well, no, because we could just do the bout first. We had 2 people doing bouts, right?
Correct.
Oh,
did anyone
Teo's like.
Oh yeah.
I like to think that Teo wants to one-up Sven in some way, since Sven was surprisingly good at archery contests.
Okay, so let's do the bout, and I'm just gonna have it be the 2 of you. And like this was the one I was the least prepared for, but I would just like I just wanted to. What? You have an idea?
Yeah, we should just like either do half health or like full health, and then just whoever kills the other one first. But it'll be like first one to take a knee. You know what I mean?
Yes, and I will say you get wood weapons of whatever weapon you would normally use, and let's just give you bout health equal to your normal health pool.
Right.
So whoever hits their health total first loses.
And the wooden weapons do the normal damage, but in bout health damage.
It's just all in bout health. Can you two? You guys can start. Crit, can you oversee them for a sec while I pee and get water?
Sure.
And that way we can keep going. And
yeah.
I don't need to DM this per se. We can all do this one.
Will you throw up the initiative tracker?
Yeah. But
to
also,
see who goes first?
Yeah, and I do have an NPC there. So Drakkar, she is both brusque and indifferent to people, but willing to, she puts the wooden weapons in your hands of your choice. And you guys can get in the ring. You've gotten your, we'll say you get like padded armor. Like you just get your normal AC, but like you get your version of it for this bout. Look at Silmay in there. I do like the idea of Silmay getting in there with her staff, wanting to just blast people with her spells. All right.
Just to make sure this goes successfully, Tally is gonna bless both of you.
Ooh. Nice.
All right, I'll be right back.
I pick up a wooden like longbow, far inferior to mine, that has like little blunted little arrowheads, maybe like little bean bags at the end. You ready, Sven?
Cool.
Yeah, I'm gonna roll.
You guys should totally roll initiative. Yeah.
Yes.
Poor Svender in 1 level away from advantage on initiative. Feral instinct at level 7.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
yeah. But you didn't need it.
Okay.
Sven first. Go.
As I grip my wooden longsword in 2 hands and get this like intense focus, my 2 ancestral guardians burst to either side of me as I enter my rage. And I will rush forward and make 2 attacks. Yeah, I'll just do 2 attacks.
No reckless or anything.
No reckless.
Nat 20.
The longsword says 1d8 plus 4 or 1d10 plus 4, but the d10 is grayed out for some reason. Oh, I'm using a shield. Never mind. Ignore it.
Yeah, if you're using a shield, then you don't get the versatile.
So one hand. Do I just roll another d8 to add?
Yes, 1 more d8. Yep. Your one-handed damage rolled higher than the two-handed damage anyway, which is classic in this campaign.
Too, but like it's always against me in this.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah,
damage
exactly.
on the first strike.
Does that include your rage damage?
It's plus 2, so that should be 16 then.
Yeah, 16.
Let me remember that. A 10, I'm assuming, misses.
Yeah, that one misses.
It will be a plus a d4 on blessed attack rolls, but I think a 14 would still miss.
14 still misses.
Cool. We'll remember that.
All right, Sven with a pretty good first strike.
Wait, why does everyone have an initiative?
That is only a you thing you're seeing.
Oh.
I think, because I only see 2 people on the turn order.
Same.
So wait, does Sven, do you end your turn?
Yes, because I took my action. I have no bonus action. Well, I did because I raged. And what do those guys do? If you were to attack someone other than me, you would have disadvantage, but all you.
Alright, I will use my reaction, and this is a scout rogue thing, where I can move half of my movement when somebody ends their turn within 5 feet of me. So, Teo kind of like kites away, and it does not provoke opportunity attacks. So
I'll just move myself away to show range.
Yeah, so I like get to the other side, like loop around. Maybe I'm on this side now, and you're back like over there where I was. And I notch an arrow, and I steady my aim, and I'm gonna use sharpshooter on this one.
Oh man.
Shoot there.
Sharpshooter, your trip advantage, and a d4.
Still got high AC though.
I know, but
Right,
go big or
so-
go home, right? 15 plus 2, 17?
Out of your D4.
Yeah, d4.
You gotta hit a 20. 19.
19.
Just miss.
How is your AC 20?
My Dex and my Con are 4 and 3, so my AC is 17. Shield for 2 more. Cloak of Protection for the final.
Whoa, that is a tank.
Yeah.
So I imagine I hit you, but it just like bounces off and does nothing.
One of my ancestral guardians comes in and bats away the arrow.
All right, your turn.
Rushing back in. 2 attacks. No.
Another one.
Oh my god.
Here, I'll just do. It's 2d8 plus 6. 18 damage
Ouchie.
on the first one. I haven't needed that.
Are you
blessing.
bruised in your bout health?
Oh, I am over bruised.
Okay. I like that being the non-lethal version of bloodied.
Yeah, that's cute.
I basically have to not get hit.
What an identical round. A miss. Let me throw a d4 in there. 14, I imagine, still doesn't hit.
Does not.
And that is my turn.
Alright, same thing. Dodge away.
Yep.
Steady the aim. I am gonna sharpshooter again. Go big or go home.
This is a lot better. 18 plus a d4.
18 plus a
You got a
d4.
you got a 75% chance.
Alright.
Hell yeah. To do half damage.
Oh, that's so true.
No!
Because it's not a magic weapon.
Go big or go home.
Oh, also, I just recently learned that the Barbarian's Rage
wait.
protects against magic weapons. It's all piercing, bludgeoning, and slashing damage, including magical, which I
always
never
assumed
knew.
That. So I take 3 damage.
No, that was the wrong
Oh,
click.
okay. Oh, because sharpshooter, right.
Yeah, so 22
22 piercing.
Plus- piercing.
4 radiant.
Plus half of the 15.
Radiant. And
Well,
then...
you're not using your moon bow, are you? Aren't you using you're not using your radiant bow.
Oh, wait, but hold
So-
on.
I think
Can I
you should be
still get
allowed to use that.
Yeah, because it's still like it's a, you know what I mean? It's basically a 1v1.
I don't want
but
Tim
we're
to have
not.
gotten nerfed, but me not.
I'm not
This
in control
versus-
of the circumstances of that.
I agree with MK. Like, it kind of wouldn't work in any reality if you were using a wooden bow against this barbarian. So, like, we'll just say your magical bow's here because at least that keeps it. I think it does keep it even.
Because then you might have taken your cloak off, right? Since you said we put padded armor on, right?
Yeah, I think the idea is just us versus each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like that as well. All right. So 11. Do you take half on radiant?
No, definitely not. And that's, I assume, not the sneak damage.
Yeah, then you
included.
take full sneak, right? Because that's just.
But
sneak.
he's not
Sneak is
sneaking
just
on
the
me.
same. Sneak is he got advantage, so he does get sneak.
You did
Also,
it
sneak
perfect.
damage is just the same damage type as the weapon attack.
So I'll call
So
it
it just-
37 and bring it down to 18.
Watching Steve eat that
Plus
cheese
the 4
is funny.
radiant.
22.
Yeah.
total.
Don't do
Yeah.
it again.
Wait, 11 plus 4. 15.
Stop.
Plus 7. 'Cause
Fuck
we-
that.
Wait, what are you eating? Oh, it's
Look how
like the
slowly
cheese.
he's raising it to his mouth. And he's like putting his mouth on it all weird. It's like a fish. It's like a turtle.
22.
Nice.
Alright, I gotta dodge both of these attacks.
All right.
This is the most dexterous Teo's ever been.
20.
Alright, I get thumped. That hits.
Wait. For the drama, Minerva,
No.
can I do it? So
Stop
rebarbs
Minerva
them.
from doing it because Duvain has been thinking about this the entire time.
What?
I've been holding a hold person this entire time.
So I released
But
the
I'm like,
silvery
no.
barbs, so you have to re-roll
Fine.
that one.
Deal.
And then I give Teo an
Yeah.
advantage inspiration.
Does a 16 hit you?
16 hits.
Doesn't matter.
It's almost kind of redundant to give Teo advantage because he's already got triple most of the time.
That's true.
That's true.
Okay.
Well, no,
But he doesn't
wouldn't
have to wait.
do
He
it long.
doesn't have to waste a bonus action on it then.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
But with your +6, I am no matter what you roll, I had 5 HP.
Oh, right, yeah. So 14.
All right, Teo, you bump him on the top of the head, maybe. I don't know where you hit me, but I drop to a knee and I say, "All right, Sven, I yield. You're still the best swordsman in the family."
Oh, I like that there's a new family unit in Ithilwinge.
I do kind of like, it's kind of like a running joke that obviously Inara, but also Teo like are fully in on the like he's part of the family, but Svendorin's kind of like in-laws, just like I'll help you to your feet and I'll brush you off and whatnot.
You hear from the sideline, "Your hair's messed up," and you look over and Inara has come by and she saw your bow and she's telling you, Teo, that your hair is a little askew.
And then I'll like just like fix it, you know what I mean, and just like saunter over to her and profess my love for her and say, "What, did you see how bravely I fought? I did put up a good show against your sister. There's not many in all of the Moonset Grove that could best her. Probably none, in fact."
You sly dog.
I will say Telpyrian destroys Svendorin because she doesn't have resistance to psychic damage.
Or force.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Well, also they don't know he can do either of those things because those are new powers. But Inara wouldn't care about. She'd say, "Yes, to face her in a small ring like that. That's the brave man I married."
The most I've had her run in a long time. She's quite scary, actually. Just
She
need to
is
look in her
frightening.
eyes.
She's very frightening, but the person, Drakkar, is not intimidated as he puts 3 charms on your bracelet and gives a participation charm to you, Teo.
You don't have to call it that.
You get 1 charm, Teo.
Second
All
place.
right. Shall we? I think we should end with Figberry because I think that's the one the most of you are doing. So I want to save that one for last. So let's do costuming. Or do you guys want to hit market? You can decide.
I'd actually prefer. Is anyone else doing costuming?
I thought it was
Because I think we just do a quick random roll of market and then do Figberry. We're getting charms pretty quick.
Yeah. Do you want? I mean, we can roll through costuming really fast for just you if you want.
I'll literally do a quick roll or something if that's appropriate.
So we'll go through it quickly. You get there. Costuming is led by Ivy, who is I wrote luscious and exorbitant, and Ivy invites you to go back and you present yourself on stage as yourself, and then you get to go through any costume you can fathom, but it is up to your clever either performance or deception to really make it pop. So you get to then present yourself in whatever costume along with a line of other people, and they're trying to say who did what. So you can tell us what you would costume yourself as and then give me a performance or deception check, and I will roll 3 insight checks to see if how many of the judges, and each judge you fail to fool is a charm. Each one you fool is a charm.
I am going to say the second Talia blessed the 2 combatants and realized everyone's focus was on that bout, she slipped away, knowing that she thinks she can get a good chance at costuming win if she really sullies her appearance momentarily without the others knowing that this is happening. So she goes to costuming and she literally she puts on a super not form-fitting gown that's way too big. She messes up her makeup, even smears mud on her face, and she's doing this so fast because she thinks she can accomplish this before anyone notices. But I'll just say she really leans into no one will think it's me if I'm as unpresentable as possible.
Yeah, I think it was a good call.
And then she will guidance herself because why not?
Imagine someone here had disguised self. You could just show back up as a different person participating.
Yeah.
I literally just checked Minerva's spell list. I was like, did I give her disguise self? But I would never.
Yeah, I'm also just thinking that my things, I don't think those give me any checks. But yeah, so I'll just roll not a performance, but a deception check.
Okay.
With guidance, which is probably
And
obnoxious.
Silme didn't want to do this one? But, because you're only, did you want to do races?
Races, yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I mean, I could do. Yeah, I mean, I would.
Well, because you did swans, and I think you want to do fig berries, so you can still do races after this. All right, so that's 17.
20.
Gorgeous. All right, so I got to beat a 20. So you're just looking like a hot mess up there.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and they know Talia Sylvan, and they know she would never be a hot mess. Only one judge is able to discern.
What is that check that they're making?
A dirty 20.
But what are they doing? Like, is it an ability check?
It's an insight check.
So as I see that one is like puzzling it out, I start coughing and speak in like broken Elvish to try and distract them from what they're puzzling out, as I literally will use a silvery barbs to try and give them disadvantage.
Oh, I did re-roll the exact same number, which was an 18. I'm sorry.
No!
Well, wait, don't you get, I'll let you do this. You can give yourself that inspiration and re-roll your 17 if you want.
Oh, yeah, for that individual, can I do that?
Yeah, I'm actually like I kind of feel weird that I re-rolled the exact same number.
No, didn't
The
work.
higher of the two. I feel like I plopped my dice down too directly. Like, I don't like that. I feel like I literally picked it up and dropped it right back down. So I re-rolled.
I'll take whatever you give me.
You get 3 charms as you fool each of the judges.
And as soon as they give me the charms, I run backstage and start trying to put myself together as fast as fucking possible.
All right, so we'll do we'll have everyone hang out go to the market, and you guys each get to get a trinket, and we'll say you come last as you're like putting yourself back together.
Yes.
All right, so anyone who wants, you guys go to the market. You can all roll a D100. The market is rolled by Sache, this bird-nosed, stooped, crone-like elf who like kind of is like the ugliest elf you've ever seen. And they're very like this. They'll be like, they'll let you get each roll for an item.
Will you remove the initiative counter?
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. Teo, did you want to roll? Silme, the Sache, what's their name? Yeah, Sache. They hand you a little bag, and in the bag you find a sheet of music that says, "Do not play in front of goblins."
Ooh. I never
Tally. I'm sorry. Oh.
That I've never even met a goblin.
Talia, you are given a. Oh.
That's because they're falsehoods made up by scary storytellers, Sylvie.
As you say that, Talia, you get this little box put in your hand, and you open it up, and it's filled with baby teeth.
Oh, what sort of horrid gift is this? You can hand this back to the next recipient, and I put it back on the counter.
The crone cackles, and she won't accept it. You keep trying to put it in her hand, and she like moves her hand so it like won't go. And then Svendrin, you get a wooden jigsaw puzzle piece that's as big as a saucer with a painted image of a jug on it. There you go. Teo. Teo, you get a pumpkin cupcake that magically regenerates itself in its paper cup each day at dawn.
That's the best thing ever.
You get a
Holy
regenerating...
shit.
Yeah,
you get a free
pumpkin
pumpkin spice cupcake every morning.
And
Holy shit.
Having rolled
Holy
above a
hell.
95, you open your bag and there's a little charm in it.
Yeah!
All right.
What was
That's
the image
dope as hell.
What was what?
Was the image of on my saucer?
A jug.
A jug.
Yeah. I wish I had read it ahead of time because I've been like, that's so boring. I'll just give him a different one.
That
But
is
I didn't.
fucking hilarious.
I do like the idea of like a wooden bowl that is in the form of a jigsaw puzzle piece, though. That's cool.
All right. So races is really simple, and then we'll do our last one, which will be the the pig bread cake contest. The races are really simple.
I eat my cupcake before we do this, and I give half of it to Anara as well.
Oh, very cute. She was gonna reach for it anyway. You guys go to the races, and racing are these small fox-like creatures. These fey foxes. They are in very good health. They are not treated as they would be in the real world in any way, shape, or form. They're magic fairy foxes. And so that's like for flavor. These are the ones that are actually racing.
Will you pull that up again? I lost it.
Yeah.
Was this gonna be like horse petting?
So I, as someone who's very bad at understanding how odds work, don't want to do odds. But
Love that.
Steve. Just hand in hand.
Amazing.
the
They are
races
trickier than is intuitive, but
the races are being run by A-Rod, who is asking each of you what?
Alex Rodriguez?
he doesn't realize that's such a sports reference. He's completely
forgot.
oblivious.
Albert-
to
Wait,
that.
no, sorry,
Albert
sorry.
just beat him.
The elf is named Brett Favre. It's fine.
No, he's named Pujols.
Hey,
I know A-Rod. I didn't realize it's literally an elf name I just took off a list, so that was my beef.
Wait, is it AEROD?
No, it's A-R-O-D.
Oh.
All right. So I would like each of you to pick a fox to bet on, and you can bet up to 3 charms. You're literally betting your charms.
Can you put the pictures back up again?
Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll move this to the token layer so you don't lose it
Charms
again.
do I have?
yeah. Can everyone put up their hands real quick and say how many charms they have total?
Mike, how many do I have?
7, 13,
Hold on,
14. Duvane had at least a couple.
You got 1 for free. You got one or 2 from the
15.
archery. I think you got 2 from the archery.
No, I think I got 4 from the archery because I was.
Oh,
You
yeah.
got 4 points. You got 1 charm.
No, you got 4 points, which equal to 1 token charm.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're at least at 15 total.
I'm at 5 then because I got
You got 3 from the first one.
3 from the geese.
Yeah.
And then 1 and 1.
I have 2.
All right.
7,
So
13. So we're at 20 right now.
And we're gonna get a hell of a lot more at the cake eating, but we're still limited to 3 events, right?
just do it. Just
Okay,
do the last
okay.
2. I don't care.
Okay.
I'm not trying to make you not do them. Okay. So I kind of think it's more fun if you guys each bet on a different one, but I don't know if you have like your heart set on one. What I'm gonna say is, first place, you win 3 times the amount of charms you put on it. Second place, you win 2 times the amount of charms you put on it. Third place gets your charms back plus a single charm. And then the other 3 don't win anything. You just lose the charms you bet.
Oh.
All right, Steve's killing him, laughing so hard at me right now. Is this okay, Spren? Do you want me to?
It's functionally like thematically appropriate and cool. I didn't expect you to say normal is minus 120, Fennec is plus 150. You know.
Oh yeah, I don't even know what you're doing.
Blondie.
Who's blonde? Is blonde
Top left.
normal?
Oh, normal. Oh,
Okay.
Normal. I didn't see
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, I'll take Arctic then.
Minerva has a single charm, and she'll put it on silver. Oh wait, which is the one not taken? Red.
Yeah.
Minerva will put her 1 on red. Art. Okay. So I have rolled to see who won already, but you guys get over there. And you get to watch a very riveting chase. There's lots of people shouting with excitement as the foxes take off, like magic trails from their tails as they sprint. And In third place comes the silver Fey Fox, meaning that Duvain, you get two charms. In second place, our lovely Gray, 4 charms to Michael Kennedy. And make sure you guys deducted the ones that you put into the pot. And then in first place, a tight race against the Gray, is the normal for Silme. So she deducted 2 for us, but she gets 6 back.
So
Ooh.
net 4.
Net 4. Nice.
Right. Last one is the Figberry contest, the long-awaited Figberry contest, in which our 3 lovely ladies have said they'd participate. I don't know.
And
who else is?
I'm in there.
Sven,
Yeah, Svenderin.
Or lovely.
Svenderin not lovely, but she's a lady.
True. Sven,
It is very
Minerva, Talia, Silme, and then who are you doing it, Teo, or are you?
I'm gonna pickpocket some
Yeah, I
kids.
was wondering if you were busy.
Okay.
Yeah, hell yeah, yes, yes.
Duvain, are you doing the Figberry contest? Okay. All right, so let's have why don't we
Can we
do a
get some
check?
stakes on the pickpocketing?
Yeah, let's get what are the stakes? Can you have an idea?
If he's caught, he gets apprehended by a guard and loses all his charms.
The carnival, I assume, requested Celithar aid.
That's
You
true.
go to Carney jail and then like.
Oh yeah, that's
but
more
I'm-
fun.
I'm stealing.
It's like
I'm
Disney
picking
jail.
my targets carefully. I'm only picking
Yeah.
out some like little brats that like.
Yeah,
nobody
low
likes
DC.
anyways.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
sure. What's a fair low DC? 12.
I think my vote is insight check, and if it's high enough, he buys himself a lower DC to see who's the least suspecting.
Ooh, insight check. Good call.
That's really good.
Lower DC, so you gotta be at a 12. I keep thinking that's fair low DC.
Well, I'm thinking about using 2 different things. I want to stealth first. So I want to like blend in and like hide somewhere where it does, like maybe I'm up against a tree so that like somebody passing by doesn't even see me.
Yeah.
All right,
And
so
then I'm gonna pickpocket them.
I got a passive perception of 13. I want you to beat with the stealth check because they're fair going. They're not on edge.
So I also, you roll with disadvantage against perceiving him when he's sneaky because I have the cloak of the elven kind.
All right. Well, yeah, you definitely beat it. So at this point, I want to slide a hand check. You isolate a really snot-nosed little brat of an elf.
Holy fuck.
You get 5 charms out of her pocket.
Yes. Yeah,
Actually, no.
buddy.
You pull the charm off her, and it you get the 5 charms that she had.
You get her whole bracelet. That's
Yeah.
amazing.
And then you can take the charms off, put them on yours, throw the
Yep.
bracelet on the
Toss
ground or
it,
something.
and then I
So sick.
yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ. I can't believe I'm actually glad you did that 20 because like I didn't even have to debate it anything. You just kept
Yeah.
crushing the rolls. All right, our last contest is our fig berry cake contest.
Sure.
So let's soil ourselves eating some fig berry cakes. Okay, so the way this works, I actually have rules for this, and these are, I'm glad we're ending with this because these are straight from Wizards of the Coast. We arrive. Music and mirth radiate from this part of the festival. The heady scent of flowers, mead, and fig berries waft through the air. People on stilts walk around delivering pies to tables. Musicians drum and pipe and strum. And everywhere there's singing and dancing and a lot of custard. A contest table is filled high with small glazed cakes, each filled with fig berries and custard. The goal is to eat as many as you can within 1 minute. Contestant can swallow a cake in about 3 seconds and safely eat as many as 3 plus their con modifier for each additional cake eaten. For each additional cake, the contestant is going to have to do some con saves or risk taking custard damage. Custard damage cannot exceed your HP. If you lose, custard will do stuff to you. So at this time, you guys see that Arik, this really burly elf, is also sitting down to do this cake contest. So everyone who wants, please step up and go sit down at the table, staring at your pile of figberry cakes. Okay. So, contestant can swallow a cake in about 3 seconds. And you can eat a max each of 3 plus your con mod. So why don't you figure out for me what your safe maximum is? And then we can start rolling to see how many extra you can pound into your gobs. Svengen, what's your constitution?
16.
Archie, come on.
Did you say, Sven? Your thing cut out.
Okay, so Minerva
16.
can only have 5 safely. You want to come up? I like that Steve gave up Archie and then I got him. All right. So, at this time, we're just going to start doing some con rolls to see how many extra cakes. This is our baseline. And yeah, so in about 3 seconds. So yeah.
Oh, I do hope the Moonweaver blesses my ability to hold these down. Can I cast Bless on myself?
Yes. I don't see why not.
It is burning through one final first level spell slot, but I got some others of higher level.
So safely, we can eat a max of 20 in this time. That's like the general like elf capacity. So max of 20 generally. But now that we all know our baseline, we can each start making some con saves. And then you risk taking custard damage. So everyone who wants to do an additional cake right now, roll a con save. You gotta beat a 10 to avoid the custard damage.
On the number one.
Woo!
Nice.
All right. So, wait, do we all do it? Yeah, we all do it. So we all get everyone just do me a favor and keep yourself a tally of how many you've done now.
Yep.
So another set of con saves.
Okay.
Oh
no!
All right.
What?
So
What?
Silme!
Dude, you are like an eating champion.
Yeah,
This is
I
wild.
love the idea of Silme sitting down and just
Yeah.
pounding.
Yeah.
All right, Savendrin, you take a D10 of custard damage, and you can only take custard damage equal to your max health.
Okay. Easy.
So you take 4 custard damage.
Oh no, I just got under 60.
Oh my god. I don't want this to take all day. But all right, so another set of con saves. If everyone's pounding down an
So do I get through that cake but take the custard damage, or do I not count that cake?
I think you probably don't get that cake.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. Yeah, custard just explodes in your face on that one because you like cough it up. Jesus, what's all these con saves? We're gonna roll.
Does the DC keep getting higher and higher each cake?
I think I'm gonna have to make it. Starting next turn, you got to be at a 12.
Okay, so that was a
Minerva
success.
takes her first D10, and I'm gonna raise it to do 2 D10 now.
Fair.
She just took a lot. All right, did anyone fail this next round?
No.
I smirk as Minerva stifles a belch.
Yeah, Minerva does not do great on that one. She took a lot. So
That was the third round.
third round of cakes. Go for it, everybody. 14 DC now. Oof.
Yes.
No!
Everyone who failed takes 10 custard damage.
Oh no.
You are the best eater.
Yeah.
All right.
Silme is
Fourth
crushing
round.
this.
Fourth round, let's go.
I'm hungry.
Minerva can't do this for her
Is this
life.
at 16 or at 14 still?
This new one's at 16.
Like
All right.
an anime character.
Everyone who
18.
failed, including Minerva, takes 9 custard damage.
That would be
I think it's just Minerva.
only Minerva.
I thought you failed it too, Crit. You rolled a 14.
Nope. 18 total.
Oh, okay. All right. So it goes up to 16 now. Everyone roll. This is Minerva's probably last one if she doesn't do it.
Beats it, beats it.
Oh, Minerva gets it finally. I mean, I don't know how many cakes you have.
Oh, 28.
Jesus. All
Little
right.
Overkill there. Oh my,
We're going up to-
literal
we're-
overkill.
We're going
I'm
up
just
to
like absolutely putting them away right now. No droplets on my face.
We're going up to 18 at this point. Minerva
Whoa.
is out.
Boom.
Oh my god.
Where's- Oh,
What
my
the
D4 is
fuck?
not going to help me
The
here.
third
Christ.
net 20?
Oh, holy shit,
This is what
Silme.
Silme's good at, of all the things. Crit, you take 9 custard damage.
Okay.
All right, I'm officially adding in a third D10. Yeah, because I have
Okay.
that. All right, so now it's 18, right? Or is it 20? I think 18 is the one to beat now.
Okay.
All right, everyone, go ahead and roll. Minerva's out.
Boom.
I'm officially going to start really struggling here. My D4s aren't going to help enough.
Oh no!
11.
No.
No, Silme!
All right,
Throw up a little.
What?
16 custard damage this round.
Oh no.
I took 16 custard damage.
Yeah, I'm adding D10s now that we're getting so high.
Okay. Is that just temporary?
Yeah, you have custard HP up to your max health, and then like as soon as this is over.
Got
Yours.
it. Okay.
All right, we're up to 20. Everyone ready?
Solid.
Roll your con saves.
Let's go! Talia, nice.
Oh
Oh,
no!
baby. 25.
11 custard damage to Silme.
Damn,
All
it's
right,
getting
20, 22.
You started too strong.
Holy shit.
22. I hope you guys are tracking how many you've done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go!
Oh.
I just hit 15.
14 custard damage to anyone who failed.
It was 22.
Yeah.
No. That's damage to me.
14 custard damage.
Oh, I'm
All right.
hanging in there. I'm still alive,
You
custard
guys are
wise.
insane. I can't believe this.
My,
All right,
because my con's so high, my health is super high.
Oh, I
Yeah,
forgot.
Yeah.
All right, 14. Or you got to be 24 this time.
Fucking
I
Christ.
need a 17 or higher.
Everyone roll if you're still in.
Damn.
And it all starts coming up.
Yeah.
Oh, Silme! The
Yeah.
clutch.
Second win.
14.
Threw up a little
14
here.
damage.
14 custard
Fine.
damage to anyone who failed that one.
Talia. It all comes out at her side.
Minerva looks and says,
I'm out.
I tapped out early. Gorgeous. That's
Oh, she can't even talk right now.
amazing. She's all full of cake. All right. You got to beat a 26.
I mean, this is the last chance either of us have at succeeding.
All right. Also, you can only have a max of 20. How many cakes you guys at?
I have 15 eaten cakes.
Wow.
Damn.
Yeah.
Should I use my inspiration on this, guys?
I wouldn't.
Yeah.
14 cake custard damage.
Okay, I'm dead.
All right. So
I'm still
Savendrin,
raring to go.
Savendrin is the last one up. Well, you've outlasted everyone by far. I mean, all the other normies couldn't contend with that. So let us do. You guys all made it really far.
I was at half.
So let's give 4 to Savendrin, 4 charms. 2 to Talia. Oh no, 2 to Silme, and 1 to Talia for third place.
I ate 13 pies and got 1 charm.
Amazing.
I had 15 and got 4.
How many do you have, Silme? Probably.
8 charms now.
How many pies did you eat?
Oh, how many pies did I eat?
She probably had 14,
You had to be in the middle.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, although with your nat 20s, we should have maybe said you got more. But anyway, okay. You guys now have enough charms to hit up the prize tag.
I'll give someone
Yeah, I
2
think-
so I can.
Yeah, we
use
have
10 for
enough
myself.
for.
How many do we have as a party?
We had
12
before the
charms.
betting. Yeah, I mean, yeah. Should we throw up fingers again to
Let's put
figure
in
it
the
out
chat.
one more time?
Yeah, let's put it in the
Okay.
chat.
So just between Silme and I, we've got 20.
Bless you.
There's 30.
Nice. Minerva's got some, right?
38.
Minerva has 1.
Oh no!
Oh, we're one shy of 40.
Well,
Wait, can you go pickpocket
go get one
another,
more.
Oh wait. Oh.
Let's go
Well-
bet Minerva's.
Oh.
Yeah, can Minerva bet 1 charm on the races?
Trying to think of some magic trick. Minerva makes an illusion of another one on whoever's bracelet with prestidigitation.
Nice.
And you get your even 40. So Minerva will say, well, I hope this was worth it. I don't need to go in the tent. I trust you. Which one of you 4 shall do it?
Well, can't we all, those of us that can amass 10 of them, can't several of us walk in?
Yeah, 4 of you can.
I'll give 2 to Silme, so I'm at 10 and she's at 10.
I'll stay back with you, Minerva. I don't think my stomach can take much more. I need to stay outside. So I'll give you guys my few charms. So the rest of you 4 can go in.
Okay. So the 4 of you, so we go over, and the carney ushers you in to the prize tent. The 4 of you step in, and in front, you enter a tent, and there's a hole in the top. And you see on the sides are like chests, like very ornate treasure chests that are open, and there's just little bags everywhere. There's big bags. There's like everything is like kind of put into these like little like sacks, so they kind of disguise what they are. But you can see little different labeled like sections of what kind of prizes are in different areas, but it's a little bit of a guessing game. But in the very center, there's this like whole skylight that goes down, and in front of you, underneath that skylight, you see this. You see this little tree. And on this tree, not represented in my image here, is just many, many round, small, yellow fruit. And there's an elf in here who says, you have your pick. Take 1 per person.
Oh.
Do I take mine?
Snatch it.
I'll see two of us snatch one, and then I'll ask, what sort of fruit is this?
This is fruit that hails from outside the Emerald. See that vase there? It's enchanted to be larger than it is on the outside, so it can grow this full tree. I don't know that there's any other in the Emerald like this. And these are these small tart fruits. That are a delicacy here. Not seen in these parts in a long time.
And so 4 fruits were grabbed.
So you guys, yeah. So and then you also, yeah. So you have the option of choosing something that's not a fruit, one of the random items, or you can grab a fruit. But are you saying each of you opted for one of the fruit?
I'm duty bound.
I got a fruit.
Okay. Duvain. Okay. Cool. I don't need this random loot table. So you each hold,
saucers.
and he tells you. Once I navigate one of my many documents, he does tell you the name of the fruit as you exit. He says, this is the fruit they call Lemonella. Put that in chat.
There's 2 ends.
Yeah, that's my gripe.
And then
It so perfectly.
he kind of ushers you out. And that's all that he has for you.
Oh, look, Minerva, they're emerging now. Friends, what did you manage to acquire in there?
I run up and I like show them my fruit and I'm like, look, maybe this is the fruit that we need for our adventure.
It is a beautiful yellow fruit that I've not necessarily seen before. I would be surprised if this vendor was conveniently selling the mere fruit we needed to, although
So it was from outside the
I'm
room,
reflecting.
were his words.
Yes, I'm reflecting on the text I read at the door. And sun was placed in a syntactical way in that sentence structure that is rather surprising, perhaps. I wonder if the Alealor were perhaps alluding to the fact that by shrouding ourselves in the Emerin, we were not able to find the full grace and light of the sun, which would align with the idea that they left the Emerin to venture into northern nations to participate in whatever wars they felt the need to. Perhaps they felt Corellin's full grace of the sun was not meeting us here in the Emerin. Perhaps fruit of the sun could mean any fruit outside of our forest. And I just kind of look up into the trees. But
That's currently
just something I'm considering.
our best lead on this half. Shall we abscond to potentially get our second piece of the puzzle?
Yes, we must.
And Talia will just like hold, or I'm sorry, Minerva will hold her hand out just for one of them.
I'll
I don't know,
offer.
one.
Yeah, and me. Yeah.
And she like looks at it and she kind of sniffs it and she says, "It would be odd if the day we sought this was the exact and only thing that would suit. But it also makes sense that if the Mooncrest Grove is at this point of the moon in the Ithilwinge, we didn't or can't produce the sun fruit. But yes."
Yes, fruit that grows under the light of a full sun, meaning perhaps almost anywhere where fruit is grown outside of our forest. To me, that is a fitting poetic key to this riddle. And frankly,
The parallel to that,
opens my mind a bit with just how the Alealor must have viewed things from our cultural perspective of needing both.
and in the immediate puzzle in front of us, that would be a quite nice parallel if we had something that could only grow in light sun and intense moonlight.
Yes, my thoughts exactly.
I assume there's juice of fluid in here that we could put down that.
We've got 4 to try out with.
Yes, perhaps if we make our way to the greenhouse next, we can make away with more than one flower just for, safekeeping to enhance our chances of one of them working. Well, this was a fun distraction from our goals, but it looks like we may have achieved what we set out to. Should we away to the greenhouse? Back within the walls of Athenian?
I think that's the right idea. And I will ask, out of character, how are we feeling? We're almost 4 hours in. We didn't really take a true long bio break. I have the greenhouse prepared, and in my imaginings, we like did the greenhouse and then we're done. So I'm curious where everyone else is at.
I know Tim and Alex had a pretty hard cutoff.
Yeah.
coming up
minutes.
soon.
Yeah, we gotta be off relatively soon, so depending on how
We could
long
get-
the battle takes, but I don't know, like
We could get to the greenhouse and cut it off there and just do battle first thing when we get back, perhaps.
I don't know what you think.
works for us, yeah.
Yes. I would say even we can just end here because we can just we'll walk straight to the greenhouse from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. We can definitely do that. Somewhere I put.
In that vein, if we're kind of closing down here, I do want to bring up ASAP that my next Sunday is very tricky, not impossible, but I have like, I don't want to enforce my preference on everyone, but my ideal time window would be like a 10 to 2, because really at 2 o'clock, I have a fairly hard cutoff of the rest of my afternoon and evening are fucked.
I had sent a message out, I think like a week and a half or probably 2 weeks ago. I can't be in front of my computer until 5 p.m. next Sunday because I'm out of town, and that's when I get back.
Shit.
So I imagine that might put
let
us
me think.
at a week
Would
break.
you Saturday?
I have that.
I'm out of
from
town
that
the whole
to
weekend, so
Oh.
so Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I'm always willing to do a weekday session, but next weekend, 5 p.m., which becomes 6 p.m. for Tim and Alex,
That's
which
4:30.
limits us to around like a 3-hour session.
Do we have something this? We have something this Tuesday, right?
We're going to Red Lobster.
That's Tuesday, yeah.
And I know, like, I would suggest after like 7 o'clock would be okay to start for me, but that's way too late
Right.
for you teachers.
Yeah. We
Well,
like
teachers
get
on
up at
EST.
5 o'clock in the morning. That's the only
Yeah.
reason why.
So one
Oh.
small thing I can offer is